Chris are ready to go.
Gwynn and Chris indeed are ready to go. Welcome in on this Thursday afternoon. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matthew Skraby, with you for 3 hours today. A little roundtable action and what would be our number 4.
You tricked yourself almost.
I did. But what's up, guys? How are you?
We got Marvin Gaye on the other line. I keep calling Tony Marvin Gaye because his voice is very, very low and deep, and it sounds a lot different, I got to say.
He's in a studio in Houston, I take it?
I am indeed.
Where the bass is turned down low.
I mean, I can't control that part.
I know. I'm
set
just
me
saying.
up. I came on in
Somebody
here.
turned it on.
You sound great. You sound great.
It's a great day, Tony Gwynn Jr. Look what just came in to the studio. The
young Tony Gwynn.
The young Tony Gwynn Sr. bobblehead doll, 1982 rookie season. It's so weird, man. I take it the wrong way every time. Anyway, everyone's going to get one of these, or first 40,000 are going to get one of those on April 29th when the Padres get back home. You know, 1982 rookie season for Tony Gwynn. I think it's rather remarkable. I'm pointing this out because he hit 289 that year. The next 19 years, he hit over 300. Not 1 year off either. 19 straight years, he hit over 300. That's consistent. You know, people say
he's overrated.
It's overrated.
Overrated. Okay, yeah. Well, it is in this day and age. They'd probably kick him off the team for hitting over 300 in this day and age.
Couldn't play
the way these guys are. But yeah, it's exciting to have the bobblehead doll, and you guys out there will all get your chance when the Padres get back home. But I imagine it was a nice flight to Houston, as nice as it can be. And I was saying, Tony, they played 6 series so far, the Padres, this year, and they've won the final game in all 6 series. So every time either they leave town or another team leaves town, the Padres are in good spirits. So that's another thing that's nice about the way this season has started off.
You get to fly in with a good feel, good vibes going, as opposed to getting on there with a sour loss, taste of defeat, going wherever you're going. So.
Yeah, they got rid of that. Their first home loss on Tuesday night, so they only had to wait like 12 hours to go back Wednesday afternoon and put that behind them, which they did. And another good game. Did you find those 2 games, the last 2 games especially, the Cubs series? I think it's overkill to say they're playoff fever in April, but I also felt that they were played at a higher level of concentration by both teams. I just felt like it was everything kind of mattered, and it had a good feel to it.
I think, first, I think one of the things that I thought about was the fact that it's not all the time that you like to have 2 teams face each other and be done with each other all within the same month, right? Because
that's
Padres and Cubs are done.
Right.
But in this case, it was really the Padres' only series loss. And so there was an extra, it seemed like there was extra attention because clearly I think when you watch those 6 games, what was, I thought, easy to tell is that both of these teams are pretty good. They both play at a high level. Yeah, maybe the Cubs bullpen isn't as strong, but they do a lot of other things really good, and they had matched up with the Padres pretty well. But to your point, I think because of the first series, it was like the focus was their focus was there. They weren't going into this kind of like not knowing what they were going to see on the other side. They did. And then I think when you throw in the 45, 6, 7,000 people that are there, it gives off a playoff atmosphere. And I heard that multiple times from the Cubs side in terms of how that being at Petco is basically like a party.
They loved it, huh?
Yeah. I mean, the atmosphere
and that's coming from a team that plays at Wrigley Field.
That plays
it's
at
a pretty
Wrigley
fun place
Field
to play to begin with. So.
Put it this way, those games were good enough to where I actually started thinking about, down the road, possibly seeing that team again. And like how, if that were the case, how like lucky I would have been in like the first 3 playoff experiences I've gotten to go to: Philly, in Los Angeles and New York. Like, I don't know that you can really knock off in terms of the type of places that you get to go and experience that. That would be pretty cool to go to have a Wrigley playoff experience at some point.
Well,
from a personal standpoint.
Yes, it is down the road, but it is certainly possible. I would think, assuming like most people do, that the Dodgers are going to win the division, and I don't know that this is a given at this point now, the way the Padres are playing, But if that's the case, then the Cubs would probably have to be a wild card as well, and maybe meet in a 4-5 type matchup like they played the Braves last year, in which case they may not have to travel because those series are played all in one ballpark. But yeah, I think both teams are good. I like the Cubs lineup. I mean, it's deep. They got, Pete Crow Armstrong's hitting 7th. I think he'd hit leadoff or 2nd on a lot of teams. Carson Kelly swinging the bat great early in the season. He's hitting 8th. That's a deep lineup. It's deeper than the Padres right now, but that's because the Padres have their injuries. I do think the difference is in the bullpen. Although strangely, the game that the Padres lost ended up being a battle of the bullpens, and it was the Padres who blinked and gave up the run in the 10th and could not answer the Cubs. So that was their only loss. But obviously the Padres bullpen's better than anybody's in baseball right now. I'm sure there's people that want to claim they have the best bullpen, but the numbers say it pretty straightforward in black and white. 1.52 team ERA out of the bullpen. And, they're shutting everything down, obviously, day after day. I thought Peralta did a great job yesterday. Skraby was mad.
Why was Skraby mad?
Because he gave up a run. You're not allowed to give up a run. I told him, when you're ahead 3-1, leadoff hitter like Pete Crow Armstrong, of all people, last thing you want to do with him is put him on base. So you throw him something. If he hits it out, good for him. You're still ahead 3-2.
I don't know why we're acting like Pete Crow Armstrong is like Ernie Banks or something.
Not Ernie Banks, but he's faster than hell. And if he gets on base, he's going to create a lot of problems.
But he's supposed to be one of the dudes, like the next upcoming dudes.
I get it. And I wasn't mad.
I know.
He gave up a home run. I was like,
okay,
the E emoji.
Yeah,
like,
I know. Yeah, well, that's.
Chris, we just have to come to accept that this guy is going to panic when any some tough spots come. He's gonna hit the panic button.
He's the same way. He's ultimate panic and he's ultimate celebration on the other side, though.
Yes,
as soon as we win a game,
I don't live in the middle, Chris.
He only lives at the end of each.
I've been like this my entire life. I'm all in or I'm not in at all.
Yeah. So no, I thought Peralta getting the strikeout of Kyle Tucker was big, and getting out of that inning and setting it up for Suarez. Manny's play in the 9th inning, and you guys were talking about it. I want you to go through to everybody what you and Jesse had been kind of hinting toward this whole cat and mouse game that had been going on the entire day, and how if you're going to play cat and mouse with Manny Machado, he's probably going to beat you. And that was really a supremely excellent play that people don't even understand how good it was.
Yeah, no, it was just to me, it wasn't. I mean, bare hand pickup throw. I've come to just expect him to do that.
Yeah.
But it was everything that we were kind of alluding to leading up to that. The Cubs have at time in that first series, they beat Manny down that line a couple times. And so, and we've seen some teams attempt to bunt and have some success dropping bunts. And so it was interesting I picked it up in probably like the 3rd inning. And I don't even know that it was, who was it that put the bunt down right there?
Michael Bush eventually.
I don't even know that it was Michael Bush at the time that I first noticed it. But Manny was, and guys that he was shifting over like into that shortstop hole and playing deep, he would wait until the pitcher came set and was getting right there, and he'd start kind of trotting in early in the count. Now, once it got to 2 strikes, he didn't do it as much, but early in the count, when he thought that they could try to bunt, he was kind of trotting in as the pitcher came set. Now, the hitter can only look so long before he's got to get his eyes set and ready to pick up the ball out of the pitcher's hand. And so Manny was timing it so that the hitter couldn't really see where he was by the time he was already moving. And on that particular play, Michael Bush, I'm almost positive by the time he set his eyes on Manny was deep enough where he felt comfortable to bunt. And so not only is Manny closing the ground as the pitch is coming, but he's also gaining momentum towards that baseball that's bunted. And then the pick up and throw is just kind of that's what he does. That's what he does.
Yeah, the whole at bat was something because the TV guys did a really nice job. After the first bunt, they showed an overhead shot, and Manny was back out at shortstop. And I said to myself, I would bunt again. Like, he's not even respecting it. And then I saw what he was doing, because the pitcher, Suarez, as you said, started going to windup, and Manny started creeping in. And I said, oh, no, he's got it covered. So I thought Bush figured that now Manny's got it covered. He didn't know that Manny had it covered, though, and he did drop the second bunt, and that was the second out of the inning. So.
Right. And that's the thing is, I'm pretty sure the first time he didn't see Manny close the distance on him. So he had no idea. Every time he's looking at Manny, Manny's at a spot where he feels comfortable enough to drop it down. And then all of a sudden he puts it down. He looks up and Manny is way closer than he should be.
Yeah, right.
He's probably thinking to himself, what is happening right now?
Why did I do that bunt? That was really stupid.
Yeah, no, it was just a high IQ play by Manny, per usual.
Yet another one, right?
I think the Padres, you get that victory, and then you roll out to where we are now, which is Houston. 3-game set. They got a Sunday night game coming up. Quick turnaround in Detroit, who is also playing some good baseball. We'll get into a lot of it here as we move forward. More Gwynn and Chris just kicking things off here on this Thursday afternoon.
The following
show this off every time I can today. Tony Gwynn and his bobblehead will be given out. The rookie one on April 29th, but we got the Tony Gwynn Jr. real version from Houston today. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby in the Odyssey Palace Studios, 5 o'clock. And then we turn it over to our Padre Roundtable, which is an hour of commercial-free Padre talk. Padres, of course, are 15-4. That is the best record they have ever had through 19 games. They have the best record, obviously, in baseball right now. And I should point out that it is now official, Tony, at least for the time being. Earlier today, Arizona won its game against the Miami Marlins. So if you look at the standings in baseball right now, the top 4 records in baseball are all in the NL West.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know that I know it's 20 games into the season, but I still don't think that's ever happened before. I mean, you've got American League, you've got other divisions. I mean, and all 4 are the best 4 record. The Diamondbacks right now have the 4th best record in baseball, and they're in 4th place.
You know what's interesting about really you could say all 4 teams. They play I think it gets distorted because of Ohtani, right? But they all play a very similar brand of baseball, right? They can run, they utilize the run game, they can string together hits, they can hit the ball over the fence. I think obviously the Dodgers probably do that better than the other 3 teams, but outside of that, they play a very similar style of baseball. And yeah, man, I think we've kind of been saying it from the beginning that the National League West could very well end up being the very best division in baseball. Now, we got a long way to go, but certainly out the gate, I don't think you can make an argument that there's a stronger division in the National League West.
I got to feel like if I'm a lawyer and I'm arguing the case for the NL West right now, I have a lot of ammunition because I got the best 4 records. I got 4 great managers too, I think. I mean, Dave Roberts, people don't want to hear me say it, but he does a hell of a job putting all that together. He's got a lot of talent, but he's got to use it right.
Torey Lovello, another one.
Torey Lovello, we love him. St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica, by the way.
Yes.
For those
we went over that with him.
We went over that with him, and he's like, "Why do you care?" And I was like, he was stunned.
Yes, I was born there.
Why does that matter? Of course, Bob Melvin, who I think maybe some people have some mixed feelings about here, but he is a 3-time manager of the year with the Giants, and I think we've all
the Padres too.
Yes, he did. People forget that, don't
NLCS,
they? Yeah. He did, and they forget. Mike Schultz obviously doing a pretty good job for us. So, all 4 teams, top 4 records. Giants though are losing. If you want a little good news, there, Phillies lead 5-1. They're in the 5th inning.
Real quick, scroll through Instagram. It's funny to see like sites like MLB. Or ESPN get roasted by people for their whatever post not being accurate.
Yeah.
And I only brought that up because I think it was MLB had the post that said that the Giants had won the series after a great win yesterday, and somebody chimed in. If you actually watch the games, you would know that it's a 4-game series, and they haven't actually.
That's okay.
You catch those every once in a while, scrolling through.
Yes, and of course, if you listen to this show, you catch that stuff often. Yesterday, Skraby gave the season series to the Padres over the Cubs.
I did.
And I had to go, in what way did they get that? And he finally,
I did.
He had to recant.
He had to go through the math again.
Not only was it 3-3, but both teams scored 25 runs. It was actually a dead even series in every way, shape, or form. All is great with the Padres. It's pretty hard to find and complain about anything. You really have to reach. So we're not going to do that because I see no reason to. I really want to enjoy this ride, and I know Tony does. And, you're not going to go 7, 8, 9 win percentage throughout the season. If you do, you're going to win 130 games, which we mentioned last week is, kind of crazy. However, you guys made the trip to Houston last night or after the game yesterday, and at least according to Mike Schilt, this is what he told the media. Jackson Merrill and Brandon Lockridge are not on the trip. Maybe you can confirm or deny that, Tony. I don't want to categorically say they're not. I just said he said that. What about Jake Cronenworth? There are some injury concerns right now for the Padres. And, so all isn't perfect in the world in that regard. What do you know? Anything?
I don't know anything other than I don't believe either of those two are on the trip.
Right.
I don't think Mike was dishonest at that at all. I think, and here's what I mean, considering that Jackson, first time he ran in a straight line was yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't think he's when that time of the IL comes, I don't think it'll be on that day.
No, well, the IL runs out for him tomorrow, so
Right.
we know that he's not going to be back.
And I would say the same thing for Lockridge. I mean, listen, it is a hamstring. No matter how many times you're told that it's minor or it's not that serious, you just don't know. You don't know how each and every body is going to react, and so, yeah. I mean, I don't think Jackson is close. Personally.
Yeah, I know. And I agree with that, Tony. And we don't know for sure. But I'm getting worried that it is going to be a little more extended. Now, it's going to be all-star break. No, but it's certainly going to be longer than we originally thought. And it's going to be at least one more week because he's not going to play on this road trip. So, it's something they have to deal with. Now, Tyler Wade, I thought, did an unbelievable game yesterday.
Catalyst
Didn't
yesterday.
he? I mean, 2 for 2 against left-handed pitching, 2 walks, 2 runs scored. He also looked pretty good chasing that long fly in the 9th inning. That was a good play. People didn't even think about it probably, but I knew that he ran a long way to get over there. So, look, I mean, right now he's okay out there. Jason Hayward's certainly going to give you good defense out there. They did trade for Bryce Johnson yesterday, who was with the team last year, and they sent Brent Sullivan to Pittsburgh. Don't know that we should read into that or not, Tony, but
I mean,
center field is something you have to look at right now.
You read into it because the 2 center fielders they initially had are injured, and so
right, yeah,
the guys that you have had out there aren't center fielders. They're guys who can play center. And I think so you got to have a backup plan in case that doesn't work out. The first 2 games, experiments wise, Jason looked good and Tyler looked good.
Right.
Tyler, did his thing offensively as well. And so every time you get a game like that, it gives a team a little more comfort that, all right, maybe we can just stick with this, ride it out. If they feel differently, then, you might see Bryce Johnson get an opportunity to come play center. I think it's all kind of a fluid situation. Certainly the 2 days in which, they didn't have either or, and meaning Lockridge and or the 3 games they didn't have Lockridge and Merrill.
Yeah.
I think they felt pretty good, at least what they got out of it. Now that could change in this next series. They could not have great performances, and then it makes you kind of reevaluate it.
Pitching continues to be absurdly good, Tony.
Especially at home.
Especially at home. Okay, the ERA at home is 1.30. All right, that's like Bob Gibson territory. I mean, you don't have a 1.3 ERA for 13 games now at home, right?
Yeah.
They're 12-1 at home. So 13-game stretch. This is a really unheard of. Of course, 6 of the games were shutouts. They only gave up over 2 runs, I think, a couple times. So it's been – Pivetta, look, 3 games at home, he's been great. The only game he struggled at all was give him a pass because it was 12 degrees outside. He said, look, it's way too early, so let's just relax before you give me the Cy Young. I agree with him, but he's 4th in the league in ERA, and Randy Vasquez is 5th. These are supposed to be 2 of your big question marks. They're being answered with exclamation points right now.
Yeah, man. So much to say about both of those guys, right? Pivetta, you just get he came into the year in some ways kind of like Joe's first year from Pittsburgh, right? Like he's a dude who has a lot of people have a lot of good things to say, but it doesn't match up with the numbers that he's put up. But you talk to people as the season was spring training rolled around, there was a lot of the same sentiment that I heard when the Padres signed Joe Musgrove. And so far, it's been pretty accurate. And some the way he has thrown the ball. As you said, the only outing he had a rough one was in Chicago. Every other outing has been pretty much dominance. And so, and then you got Vasquez, right? He came into the year fighting for the 5th spot in the rotation. That kind of, I don't know that honestly, I don't know that had settled itself until the last 3 days when Waldron, pulled his oblique.
Yeah, that and Darvish. Otherwise, yeah.
Had that not happened,
there's no guarantee, right?
There's no guarantee he's in that spot. And so he's come out and it hasn't been perfect, but it's gotten better each time. And he's pitching with some confidence. And the other thing is, and I know it might kind of go over some folks' head, but especially with him having a guy like Maldi back behind the dish on the days that he's been pitching, I think has been a tremendous help to him.
We don't even begin to know how good Maldonado's been because we're only looking at his batting average and his home runs. We're not looking at his experience and what he calls behind the plate. And
the other thing is how good
this matters to pitchers. And Diaz too made a hell of a couple plays yesterday.
I was about to say, how good has the defense on the catching side? I know Diaz had a little rough. I see you, Scrape. I got you.
Oh no, I was waiting for Chris to look at me.
I know Diaz had a rough, early start defensively, but he's gotten better, and I think the throwing has been just tremendous. I mean, the throw he made yesterday, where Bogey he just had to catch it, and my man slid right into the glove. That's like as perfect of a throw you can make
after you short hop the pitch. So
yeah, that's right. That's right.
No, Diaz and Maldonado have been good. Although I think Padre fans would say they're concerned because neither's really, lighting it up at the plate. There's so many more things that go into winning games. And if if this year's Padre team isn't proving it to you out there, I don't know what would. Because there's a lot of statistics that say they should not be 15-4, but they're winning the margins game after game. All right, we'll talk more about it. More Padre talk coming up. We'll talk MLS, the SDFC, our Thursday conversation on our pro soccer team coming ahead as well. Gwynn and Chris keeps rolling.
Gwynn and Chris on the
4:34 here in Houston, 2:34 there in San Diego. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Sello, Matthew Skraby, taking you till 5 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock here Central time.
We've been looking at this play, Tony, talking about it during the break, and I finally got a video of it that we can see here. Scrabe, I don't know if you can find it in time, but it's the Twitter account of the Albuquerque Isotopes. They tweeted it out, and it's an overhead view of what happened. Now I can finally explain this. You might have heard about it out there because it had to do with the Padres minor league team as well. El Paso Padre team was playing Albuquerque Isotopes, which is the Rockies AAA team. And this was a couple of nights ago. Luis Campusano was the catcher. He's taking a lot of flack for this, and it's completely wrong.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I knew it.
It's completely wrong, and I'm going to explain what happened now. They had bases loaded, the Rockies team, or, the Albuquerque. And it was 2 outs, bases loaded, 3-2 pitch. Okay, so understand that the runners are running, right? 3-2 pitch with 2 outs. It's ball 4. So the runner from third trots in. The runner on second is arriving at third, right when the pitch is over. Campusano throws the ball back to the pitcher, who catches it and immediately turns around to walk up the mound with the ball. So when he turns his back, the runner who's now on third just keeps on going and scores. That's not Campusano's fault. Then the third runner is hung up between second and third, but the pitcher, now in a panic, throws the ball down the left field line, and the third run scores.
And
but I'm tired. The thing I'm bringing it up, I don't want everybody to think Campusano made a terrible play here. The pitcher fell asleep is what happened.
Listen, and you could tell. I figured that. I didn't figure it exactly how you had it, but I knew that it wasn't his fault based on just the video they kept showing. Right? If it was based on his throw, I've done this to a catcher. He's lobbing it. You're taking it off as soon as it comes out of his hand. It was clear that didn't pick him up until And so I figured it must have been the pitcher
Aaron
form.
Schunk with brilliant base
Campusano has
running
had
was the
defensive
second
issues
runner
in the
to
past.
score.
Everybody
And
just
then
jumped to that conclusion that,
Beck
he must have
Right.
he must have
became
done
the third
something
run
here.
to
Yeah,
score.
there's a 1 minute and 10 video, Scrabe, if you can find it and post it so
Playing
people can
right
watch.
now.
Oh, it
We'll
is
watch
playing
it
right now.
again on the replay.
first view,
and
you can't
describe
see
it
much.
for
Well, here it
radio.
But
is.
then they
So-
show the
yeah.
overhead shot. You'll see him throw the
Schunk went
ball,
down toward
and then watch the
third,
pitcher.
saw
He just
the
catches
lob
it and
back to the pitcher.
casually.
The
It's
pitcher's
totally not
paying
campus
attention.
Right?
at all.
He just
Sprinted home.
the
There
pitcher
was
falls
no
completely
throw
asleep.
there. And
The
then
second
Jordan
run scores.
Beck
Now the
took
run
off
goes
for
from second to third. Pitcher
That
throws the
throw
ball
was
away. Third
high,
run scores.
And now
It's not
he
on
sprints
Campusano
home,
in any way,
and
shape, or
3
form.
runs
So,
have scored.
shame to people who kept
What
doing that,
started
because
ball four,
a lot of people aren't going to hear
Schunk
this
went
portion
down
of our
toward
show,
third,
and they're going to think,
saw
oh,
the lob back
Campusano
to
made
the
a terrible
pitcher.
play
The
that allowed
pitcher's
3
not
runs
paying
to score,
attention.
and he just did
sprinted
not.
home. There
No.
was no
It's
throw
on the pitcher.
there.
He's
And
turned
then
Speaking of
around.
Jordan
Campusano,
Beck
though,
took off for
he is
third.
raking down
That
there. I
throw
must
He's
was
say.
raking right
high.
now.
That's the
So-
next
Now he
the
sprints
next
home,
move that
and
people want to see the
3
Padres
runs
make.
have
What do you
scored.
think, Tony? They're talking. Look, everyone's
Yeah.
given up on Yuli Gurriel already. Let's be clear about that. So we need to replace him with another right-handed DH, and people are saying, "How about Campusano?"
I wouldn't put it out of the mix.
Okay,
I wouldn't put it out of the mix. I'm not saying that it's imminent.
right.
I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think the Padres are going to, and they have been. They are willing to get creative. They're willing to try different things, and if Campy's swinging the bat as well as it sounds like he is, maybe they give him a shot, but maybe they don't. We'll see. I think that's going to play itself out. Right now, I know at this, what was it, 15-4 right now?
15-4, yes, Tony. Let's
I don't know
say
that
that
they-
record as often as we can.
Yeah, I don't know that they're finna upset things right now when the machine is moving off pretty well.
Agreed. I got a question for you, and this has to do a couple of different things. I'm trying, with not a lot of success right now, to keep people off the back of Xander Bogaerts. And Skraby is right. I think the contract is more than anything why people are so frustrated that he's not hitting 350 with 6 home runs and 35 RBIs yet. And I pointed out 2 plays that he made yesterday, Tony. One was on the throw by Diaz that we talked about in the last segment. If you watch the replay of this, Xander did not reach in front of the bag to catch it and swipe. He waited for the ball to travel and then tagged him. That's the only way they get an out. That's a great play that very few people notice. And secondly, tags on a long fly ball goes from first to second the next inning. They didn't score on that, but that's the winning baseball that they keep playing. The point being, Jake Cronenworth said it to us in spring training. If you're 0 for 4, find something else you can do to help your team win the game. And that does seem to be the mindset of this team. And that might be the secret sauce as to why they're 15-4.
That is the secret sauce to why they're 15-4.
Yeah.
I mean, they make those type of plays almost once or twice a game. Like they've made it in this run they've been on.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, listen, I think in everybody's mind, if you are making a certain amount of money, the numbers should match what the production in everybody's mind is, and whatever that is. And it's just not how it works in baseball. At the end of the year, you hope, and it's meant to be that way. It's not meant to look at in April, May. It's meant for when the season's over. What did the player do? Right. And you would like the production to happen when it's most important. Right. But that's not how it's always measured. I mean, when you look at it at the end of the year, what will Xander have done? I think right now he's contributing to winning baseball in a major way. He's been in the thick of a lot of this stuff that's the Padres have done to this point. Does he have the homers? No, he don't have the homers right now. Doesn't mean he won't get them. I mean, Xander was never going to be a 30 homer guy. I mean, that's look at his baseball card.
He did that once in his career.
Right. That's not something that he's, destined to do all the time. And so, I think you gotta let it play out. I think he's done a good job. I think he's done a great job to this point.
I have one last thing to say to people out there who don't like Xander Bogaerts or are concerned or are, upset that, they feel, half their ticket price is going to his salary. Let me ask you this, and then just think about it, and then
I saw that, Skraby.
Yeah, well, Skraby's one of those people.
What? My
Yeah.
eyebrows going up
Yes.
a little bit?
You little head. You
I
little
mean,
head shake.
technically,
He's
I'm
one
not
of those
blaming
people.
him for it, but
why
technically,
my
we are
tickets are
paying for a
expensive.
set. I don't have any issues with Xander Bogaerts. I
Yes,
will
you
fight
do.
for Xander Bogaerts.
Yes, you do.
All
No,
right, here-
I don't.
All right, so I'm asking all the listeners who do have an issue, and that I think includes you.
I don't have an
If-
issue with him.
Let me ask you the question first. If at the end of this season, Bogaerts goes 19 homers, 19 steals, and hits 285, goes 790 OPS,
Give me that.
you take it.
Yes.
Okay, let me point out that in his only full season with the Padres 2 years ago, those were exactly his numbers.
And I wasn't complaining about him.
I'm pointing it out to everybody else. Last year, those numbers were down. He also played 44 less games. He dealt with that injury all year long. And this year, it's far too early to say what he's going to do. So this is why I think before you take out so many frustrations on one player, look at the only healthy season he's had here. Those are acceptable statistics to me, and I think to most people out there, Tony. But people just somehow that escapes them.
I'll give my man Brayton some credit on this because I think he said it maybe at our round table. I can't remember, but he said that's one of his top OPS years was his first year with the Padres, and that's in his career. That's going through the Boston days where he was, supposedly, playing so much better. I just think that, so we just all have unrealistic, and not all of us, but some of us have unrealistic expectations on what it needs to look like in order for the Padres to have success.
We have short-term memory when we want to, and we have long-term memory when we want to.
Let me tell you, we kind of just make this point real quick. The vaunted 98 Yankees, right? They had a bunch of players on that team that throughout the year hit 220, 240, 250, 230, and they still were the best team that many say ever, right? So like there's this idea that everybody on the team has to be playing at an all-star type level. That's just not the reality. You can go back to the last World Series champ, the Dodgers. You can go down the list of World Series champs, and they don't have everybody that's producing at an elite level. They have, probably a handful of guys playing at a very high level, and you probably have three that have played that throughout the whole year, right? And then you got your role players that are coming up in certain spots. Somebody gets an injury, you have a guy hold it down for 2 months while somebody gets healthy, and that's what makes a good team. I think all of that is caught up in the notion that this is what it's supposed to look like if our team is going to be what we want them to be.
Yes. So let's piggyback on that statement, Tony, because I think you're hitting on something here. Not everybody has to be an all-star Hall of Famer for the team to win. And here's the example. The Dodgers, 2025 so far. Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Shohei, even Mookie Betts at 266 are doing okay. Edmonds off to, I think, a good start. But my point here's the bottom of the Dodger order. Michael Conforto, 211. Max Muncy, 193. Andy Pajes, 175. Miguel Rojas, 161. Enrique Hernandez, Kike, 125. Those are starting players. Those are the guys that the Dodgers run out there every day. They're all hitting under 200. Now, it'll change, but the point you're making, Tony, is everybody doesn't have to be hitting 400 all the time.
Right.
I mean, even the Dodgers are going through similar things where they have 4 or 5 guys in their order doing nothing. Max Muncy has no home runs to go with his 193 average, by the way. So, there are other teams that you're good enough to overcome it.
And you just chose the Dodgers. You can
I
literally
could find
do
another
that
team, yeah.
all up and down the league like that.
Yeah.
And some teams won't be good at all. Some teams will be 15-4.
One of my favorite things is when people start talking bad about Xander, people say you're talking bad about Slander Bogaerts. It's slander Bogaerts when you're talking bad about him, and it's not true. Anyway, Tessa
Interesting
says,
fact there you gave us there, buddy.
I thought it was going to go better. Tessa says on the chat, I don't understand the hate on Xander. It's not his fault. He's paid $25 million a year. Plus, comparing his stats, not the crazy good year, he is comparable. My thing on Xander Bogaerts has changed, and my thought on Xander Bogaerts is, I mean, he's on this team for the long haul. So why am I going to be mad about him being on the team? I can't do anything about it.
It's another fair point. He's on this team. You are supposedly a Padre fan out there.
It's forced.
Go ahead and root for him.
Yeah.
He's on your team. Are you going to root him for him to make an out every time?
Who was the guy that everybody hated? Oh, Eric Hosmer. And we all said, let's root for him.
Might as well while he was on the team.
Yeah, but Xander Bogaerts, I think, is a little bit more lovable than Haas.
I want to bring up, unless we have a little more on Bogey.
No.
I've been holding on to 2 questions for you, Tony, the last couple of days because you were traveling yesterday. Let's go back to the loss on Tuesday night for a second. Bottom of the 10th inning, Iglesias is the runner. He steals third, which was a great play to get him there with 1 out. And obviously they bring the infield in, the Cubs do. Diaz is at the plate. He hits a chopper off the glove of the pitcher that, fortunately for the Cubs, ricochets right to the second baseman, throws him out. But I was surprised that Iglesias wasn't running. And I ask you, because you probably had a better look at it, maybe a better feel for it, they do the contact play most of the time. So if it's the contact play, as soon as that ball's bounced into the ground, Iglesias should take off. And regardless, and I believe that he might have made it and tied the game. Take me back to what you saw.
I don't know. It would have been close. It would have been really, really close.
Yeah.
But again, this is where sometimes past experiences may change it up in this specific scenario. Remember, I think we had talked about it going back to the Chicago series. Because at that point, it was Oakland. At that point, the Padres had gone contact play pretty much every time, and it hadn't been going their way. And so, that experience, those experiences may have played a part in them saying, you know what, let's not go contact here. We're going to have a couple cracks at it. Because remember, Diaz was he at 9th at that point? Go
right.
back
Fernando was on deck. So,
yeah. So I think at that point, you're like, all right, we've ran this, and I feel good about it most of the time. But with Toddy coming up, we're probably not going to go contact. It would have had to have been contact in order for them to have a shot at being safe on that.
That's for sure. He would have had to leave him immediately if he was going to have a chance. Okay.
What was the second question?
The second question is, where in the world has the pitch out gone? I've been watching baseball for longer than everybody, probably in the building at the moment. They pitched out ever since, I knew when. Johnny Bench, required a pitch out to throw people out, and he probably didn't need it, but they gave it to him anyway. Has analytics wiped out the pitch out? And if so, why? It seems like a really good strategy when you think somebody's going to try to steal a base.
The pitch out has not disappeared. It just doesn't look the way it used to. So you may not notice it. A pitch out it's more of a pitch up now.
Okay.
And it's not like on the plate. So they're disguising it now a little bit more. They don't want it to necessarily have to be the pitch. The catcher used to step completely out to his right.
Yes, way out there.
Way out there. I think, for multiple reasons, it's a pitch. I guess it's still a pitch out, but it's more of a pitch up now.
So they just give the catcher something up and away that he can handle, and they call that a pitch out, because it used to really be obvious to everybody that they threw the ball into the other batter's box practically. So it's weird to me.
It was kind of funny. I was going through some old video of mine, and it happened to be on base, and I forget who it was. It might have been I think it might have been Buddy. We were playing cat and mouse. They pitched out 3-1 thinking I was going to roll. I didn't. And I took off the very next pitch, because you start back at that time, pitch outs were so much more, as you said, obvious where they stepped out. you could kind of anticipate what the team was doing. You still do. They just disguise it a little bit more now.
Thank you, Tony. I can sleep a little easier tonight. These are the kinds of things that keep me walking the halls at 2:30 in the
pitch
morning.
out.
Well, yeah, I wanted to know where it went.
It's still.
I
there.
didn't get it. It's okay.
You can do it in MLB The Show, so it must be there still.
Right. If MLB Show says it, then it's got to be a real thing.
L1 plus O.
Makes perfect sense to me.
L1 plus O.
I've been picking people off left and right with the pitch out.
By the way, one last thing on pickoffs. How about calling a balk when the guy steps to home and picks Manny off yesterday, please?
I mean,
this wasn't even close, Tony.
It wasn't.
And why didn't
that's
the Padres argue it? I was surprised.
Because you can't. I mean,
you can't do it anymore.
I mean, you can argue it, but they're not. I haven't seen the balk ever get overturned.
Right.
And it's just, the rule is so ambiguous in terms of. I mean, it virtually says the pitcher is not allowed to deceive the runner.
Well,
every
what
left-handed pickoff is a deceiving of the runner thing. Like it's like, am I coming? Am I going? Am I coming? Am I going?
Yeah, that's the
yeah. And so I don't. They some umpire. We don't have Bach and Bob no more. That Bob Davidson used to call.
Bob Davidson used to call it if you lift your leg up, he would just give the guy second base.
We don't have him around anymore.
Yeah, I thought that was clear to me. I'm sure the fans were upset that Manny got picked in that situation, but to me, that's not his fault. I'm not trying to stick up for him. I mean, I'm just saying an obvious play that they missed on that one. So, all right.
Sure. All right.
We're good, man. You're up. Yeah.
We got a little more. We got a lot more to get to, including something that we have been kind of alluding to for quite some time. I don't know if we'll get to it in this next segment because we got the Daily Gambit coming up. But we for long have said that the gambling thing could like rear its ugly head.
No.
At some point.
Money and greed?
I mean, The Athletic did a terrific article about kind of the betting scandal in college and pro sports and how it's the way it's been modernized. It's not like it used to be, at least the way we were taught it in terms of what could happen, how they're going to get at you, things of that nature. It's a wild world. We'll get to more of that later on. Up next, though, Daily Gambit 3 o'clock hour when we return.
And back at it. 3:02 is the time. Welcoming you right on in here. A little Gwynn and Chris. 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello. Tony Gwynn Jr.'s in Houston, Texas, where we surmise it's humid. Even though it's only April, I imagine they snuck a little humidity in.
Yeah, they snuck a little. It's not bad.
Not too bad, yeah.
No.
Not the dead of summer, but where do they? I was going to say they play at Enron Field. I think that's a little. I think that's a little in the past. Is it not? Yeah, that's
Enron.
Enron. Jeez, they were still in the national. They were still in the National League when it was
Enron Field. What is it? It's not Minute Maid Park anymore?
No, it's like
it just changed this year.
Yeah, it's like let me get it. It's something way different.
But it's the same grounds.
Yeah.
As Enron Field and Minute Maid.
It's called
Park.
Dakin Park.
Enron Field. That was
called Dakin
That
Park.
was pretty. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm sure the Astros are really happy to be associated with that.
Yeah, no, I think they were very happy to get up off of Enron.
Yes,
They need to keep it the juice box though. Minute Maid was just perfect for the juice box.
I was saying this to somebody that it's one of those stadiums that no matter what they do, we're going to be calling it Minute Maid.
Probably.
Juice box for
Probably.
quite a bit.
It's hard not to.
Like Qualcomm changed their name right at the end, and no one really called it that.
SDCCU.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it didn't get a lot of play.
No.
I don't know that the SDCCU got the bang for the buck on that one. Because if people said I'm going to SDCCU, people said, "Well, where's that?" Like they didn't.
Or they'd be like, "You're going to the bank."
Yeah, they weren't.
It's Saturday night. You know, it's closed, right?
They weren't quite sure. Padres tomorrow night will send Kyle Hart to the mound in Houston, and the Astros are going with a rookie, Mr. Gusto, Craig Gusto, Bill, John, Randy,
Ryan.
Thank you.
Is it Ryan?
I don't know. It might
Listen
be.
to you guys, Craig.
Yeah, it's
Ryan.
How did you know?
How did I? We talked about him on the round table, and I always like the last name Gusto. I think he needs to pitch with gusto.
Well, it'll be a second career start tomorrow night. He's a right-hander. And then the Padres get their aces, man. You get Michael King and Dylan Cease back-to-back.
That means we get Fromber and who?
Wisniewski Saturday night and Fromber Sunday. And this I found out today during the roundtable. Go to Detroit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but don't have to face Tarek Skubal. So that's a little break from the pitching gods there.
Did Skubal.
No Skubal.
No one's mad about that.
Nobody's gonna complain.
This is the first trip where you get into real baseball. And I mean that in terms of travel. We got the Sunday night game.
Oh, yes. Monday kind of early
and then
evening.
a Monday early evening in Detroit. And so, we're going to get in quite
and I
late.
think it's Detroit's Eastern time zone.
It is,
Eastern,
yes.
Which means you're going to lose an hour somewhere along the
But hey, I checked the weather. Supposed to be
60s.
in the 60s.
We got lucky.
Yes.
We got very lucky.
Supposed to be in the 60s.
I will be prepared if Mother Nature decides to change her mind on that, though.
Listen to you old ladies talking about the weather a week from now. That's something that my wife does.
Listen to me, Chris. Jesse and I have been checking this forecast for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, I do the same.
We didn't want to get caught up in that Chicago cold and not be prepared.
No, I give you guys a hard time.
I mean, like 2 weeks ago, the Yankees and the Tigers were playing in Detroit, and it was snowing.
So hopefully that will not be the case.
Thank you.
Padres return home Friday, April 25th. Tampa Bay will be here starting Tuesday, April 29th. As if you need another reason to see the Giants, this Tony Gwynn rookie bobblehead, Tony Gwynn Sr.
He's got
amazing.
He's got the pallbearers on. That's what we call those all-white batting gloves right there.
The pallbearers.
Yes.
I love the nicknames for these things.
Well, I see what you mean, Tony. They're kind of nifty, and you would wear those to carry a casket around.
That is the idea of those. I actually heard that from Mike Cameron. He told me that.
I like that one. Tell Mike Cameron that's a good one. All right, we got the daily Gambit, Skrabe. Let's we better get rolling.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in the Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. I'll go through these quick since we're limited on time. Orlando was a 6-point favorite over Atlanta the other night. The Magic, we all chose the Magic. The Magic ended up winning by 25, 120-95. I kind of want to talk about Trae Young.
Trae Young had a temper tantrum.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. It was slightly hilarious, but at the same time, it was kind of sad to see.
He had had enough.
I'm taking my ball and going home.
And then he gave it back to the ref, and then he stole it back from the ref.
He did the yo-yo to the ref.
Right.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, he was very upset.
He just wanted to rest for the next game. Get out of there early.
Golden State -7 over Memphis the other night. I chose the Warriors. You guys chose Memphis. Golden State won, but they only won by 5, so they did not.
Real quick
cover.
note on that game, because I think it's important. Tony, you saw. I don't know if you saw the end of the Warrior-Memphis game, but the Warriors led by 1 point with about 20 seconds to go, and Steph was dribbling the ball up the court. Ja Morant reached behind to try to steal it. He never touched it. Steph lost it out of bounds. Should have been Memphis ball, trailing by 1. They blew the call. Memphis did not have any challenges. And after the game, this is kind of a huge thing, right? It went back to Golden State. They end up winning the game. They had to foul, etc. So it's kind of a game-determining play. The NBA came out and said they screwed up.
Yeah.
Here's what I wonder. Should they really be doing this in a world where people are gambling hundreds of thousands of dollars on these games and basically saying we cost Memphis the victory?
I remember why they started doing this, but now things have changed so much since then. You're right. They probably shouldn't be announcing these things because unfortunately, people are dumb enough to hurt somebody because of something.
Right.
Like this.
I mean, a referee.
I lost my life savings.
Well, you bet Memphis on the money line. You're thinking you could have won, and they took it away from you, and that's a huge call.
That's part of the game of gambling.
Well, I agree. I agree with you.
It
but
used to be a part of this part of the
right.
game.
I agree with you, Skraby, but don't tell that to the guy who lost his house on that call.
He probably shouldn't have been betting his house.
Oh,
on
no
Memphis.
kidding, Skraby.
Not disagreeing with you. I'm just pointing.
It's like the
something
people
out.
that are mad because the Fire Festival 2 was canceled, and they're
no. That's not the point. The point is that a referee could now get shanked because someone lost their house.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I totally
That's
understand.
what Chris is getting at. Like maybe they shouldn't be doing this.
Calling attention to the fact that they blew the call.
No, I agree with you guys. It just makes the loss that much worse. Like, hey, sorry, we've kind of lost the game for you, but thumbs up for the next time.
I also want to say that as much as he drives me crazy, Ja Morant, there's a clip of him from above the rim, Tony, on Twitter today. In that game, driving down the lane, hanging in the lane with a guy right in his face, taking his left hand offhand, throwing the ball off the backboard, while he's still in the air, catching it with his right hand and laying it in off the window. And as the Twitterer said, Michael Jordan never did that. And I got to agree with him. Yeah. That was unbelievable. If you have a chance to see this, you're not going to believe what you're looking at.
At the end of the night, that's how I do my laundry, you know?
Okay. And another classic comedy moment from Skraby.
That was fun.
Can't laugh at your own jokes, buddy.
I've been doing that a lot lately. Golden State, Memphis, total score over under 228. Chris went under. Tony and I went over. It was 237. Steph Curry, who had more points? Steph Curry -2 or Ja Morant? We all chose Ja. Ja had 22. Steph had 37 minus those two, 35. So we lose.
By the way, another unbelievable performance from somebody that's almost as old as I am. But I just love. He scored 15 of the last 19 points.
Steph.
No, we've been
Steph
watching.
Took over the game. Incredible.
We've been watching Steph so long that we watched his oldest be a baby, and now like a teenager. Probably
Riley?
Soon. Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
What a game he had. Really.
Final three, and then we need to go to break. We'll have to do our bets later. But Cubs -1.5 over the Padres on Tuesday nights. We all chose the Padres, and we were all right because the Cubs only won by 1 run. So we win that one. Dodgers -1.5 over the Rockies Tuesday night. I went with the Rocks, thinking they were turning it around. That was stupid. Dodgers 6-2. Aaron Judge runs plus hits plus RBIs over under 2.5 on Tuesday night's game. Tony and I went over. Chris went under. He had one run, 2 hits, no RBIs, so he ended up going over with
He went
3.
over. Good for him. All right, we will make our picks in a little bit. There isn't a lot tonight, guys. The NBA playoffs are idle, and there's very limited baseball
NBA
as well.
playoffs
So
haven't started yet, Chris.
you're right. So once again, officially, the Bulls did not make the playoffs since they were eliminated in the play-in by the Heat last night. But
The NBA has made everything so confusing.
it is pretty confusing, I must say.
Like,
I
if
mean,
you guys are hardcore fans.
Playoffs don't start till Sunday, guys.
Yeah, you can say that, but last year you were in the play-in with us, so
Right.
you were singing a different tune last
Hey,
year.
listen, we weren't in the playoffs last year until we got into the playoffs.
Okay, all right, Mr. Jerry Buss. We'll take a timeout, check some traffic. Gwynn and Chris rolls on.
From the 855, get Ross Traffic's.
5:18 here in Houston, 3:18 there in San Diego. Welcome into Gwynn and Chris. Tony Husband, play-by-play for MLS Season Pass, will join us shortly to talk a little SDFC, coming off of a tough road loss out in Denver. We'll conversate a little bit about that. Skraby is in the middle of his phone call, but I'm looking at your segment coming up here next, Chris. I don't know if you've looked at it.
Oh boy.
There are a lot of subject matters on here that I'm pretty sure you're not going to know anything about.
What is he doing to me?
I don't know, except for the League Corso one. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be up to date on.
I'm certainly not going to have a lot on the Drake Kendrick Lamar feud.
I put that in there for Tony, but our
Okay,
guest is ready,
well,
so we're going to have to
I'll
carry
just
this
go
over.
home
You're just going to go home?
during that segment. Yeah, I live
Okay.
close.
Let's bring in
Yes.
let's bring in Tony Husbands, play-by-play for MLS Season Pass. Tony, thank you for your time today. How are you?
Very well, guys. Yeah, nice to join you, and looking forward to what should be a really good game this weekend in Charlotte.
No doubt about it. I want to talk a little bit about SDFC's last loss. They go to Denver, they lose 3-2, and we've often been talking about this year, or at least we've had guests on talk about how good they've been playing out of the back, how precise they've been. That seemed to kind of rear its ugly head in that last game against Colorado. They made some turnovers. And Colorado was able to capitalize on it. Is that kind of the risk of playing out of the back, especially if a team is going to be pressuring you high like that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, it's high risk, high reward kind of soccer. It's something that we see increasingly teams do these days. Some teams and some players are better suited to it than others. San Diego have come into MLS and they've recruited with players in mind that can play to this identity and to this style. I heard Mikey Virus say earlier on today about how the identity is a non-negotiable factor of this team. This is how they're going to play. Now, if you're going to play like that, you are going to give away goals during a season. It's just inevitable. You are also going to make mistakes. You are at times on your best days, you're going to look a little bit sloppy like they did last weekend in Colorado. But the reward of that as well can be in what you can achieve at the other end when you can break a team's press and play past them, get round them. So high risk, high reward. It makes for great viewing. It can also make for quite edge of your seat kind of watching if you're a fan.
Well, I think Mikey Virus is doing the right thing. I mean, we got a new team in San Diego. I think we love the style that they're playing. People are flocking to the games and, really enjoying it. And, you look at these guys, SDFC, third in scoring in the league and goals scored, or second, actually, tied for second. So they're putting some excitement into it. Charlotte, on the other hand, this is a team that's actually got a little better record than San Diego does. And they're not allowing much. Like you talk about defense, they've only given up 7 goals the whole year in 8 games. So what style wins on Saturday, and how does SDFC impose its style?
Well, you're absolutely right. It's going to be a contrast between these two teams. So Charlotte, managed by Dean Smith, an English centre half in his day. I can remember watching Dean as a player. His priority is organization. His team will be pragmatic. They will sit in what we call that low block at times. They will be difficult to break down, and they're not going to push. They don't normally push too high up the field to try and win the ball. So I think San Diego will have that opportunity to play to their strengths, to play out from the back and play through the lines of the field. So it makes it an intriguing tactical battle. The question for San Diego is going to be, how do they get around the back of Charlotte? How can they create space? How can they get their game changers into positions to score goals? 7 goals against for Charlotte all season shows you that not too many teams have achieved that. So that will be the pressing tactical question for Mikey Virus and his coaching staff going into this weekend is, well, how can we open Charlotte up and create chances? You wouldn't normally expect a high-scoring game against a team like Charlotte. So it's going to be about taking that all-important opportunity when it comes. It could be about when it comes down to a set-piece situation. Is it from a free kick or a corner?
Tony Husband joins us here, play-by-play for MLS Season Pass. Will be on the upcoming game here with SDFC in Charlotte. And Tony, as someone, a veteran in soccer and having done so many games, The MLS season is a long one. At what point does somebody like yourself start to kind of have some of these end of the season rewards start to come into a little bit of focus, right? I mean, Mikey Bears has obviously got this team playing well. Is it too early to start thinking about, possible candidates for a coach of the year? There's so much season in it. I know in baseball, you get to about the halfway point, you start to kind of put these things into focus, but Mikey Bears has been off to such a good start. There's a lot of conversation here in San Diego about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting analogy with the baseball. You're looking 80 games in sometimes. You're really looking at where the season's narrative can be told. And likewise, in a soccer season like MLS, it's a long year. It's played across some quite different climatic conditions as well. There's the rigors and the heat of a summer to come. There's tournament play as well with Leagues Cup. And then there's this kind of mad dash as you go into the fall towards the playoffs. For me, I think it is too early to be thinking too much about those things. I don't think too many within the walls of San Diego will be thinking too much about that. But that's not take away from the fact this has been a really impressive start. They're a great team to watch play. Like you mentioned there, people want to come and watch San Diego play. They're easy on the eye to enjoy watching as any soccer fan. So I'm particularly looking forward to seeing them live and in person for the first time this weekend on Apple TV. But I've always made it a point. A coach in the UK once said to me, never looks at the league standings until about 10 games into a season. So right now we're just approaching the cusp of kind of 10 games. It's week 9 effectively this week. So we're on the point where we can start to look at this season and start to look at who are going to be the contenders and who are going to be the also rans, who's got a lot of work still to do. So we're not too far away from that now. And, the omens are pretty good for San Diego, but I would caution it's still early.
Tony, I'm looking at, you look at the San Diego roster, and I got to believe it's similar to other teams in MLS. I mean, you got players from Ghana, you got Argentina, you got Panama, you got Germany, you got Northern Ireland, Norway. Then you got a guy from San Diego, and then you're back to Mexico City and Denmark. How do these guys all get along? How do they put soccer teams together? To me, baseball, we're talking baseball. I mean, these are kids from all over the country. They're not from all over the world. Doesn't everybody grow up with a little different style of soccer where they're from? So how do you piece this all together? I mean, I would imagine a lot of these players have to make some concessions so that they can fit in with the rest of the guys.
Yeah, it's a really great point. I mean, I suppose that the one-liner answer for you would be just kind of, well, that's where soccer as a global game maybe just differs a little bit from the kind of traditional North American sports. You've got players who've been playing this game wherever they've come from around the world, probably since almost the moment that they could stand on 2 feet. But you're absolutely right. Culturally, the game is different in different parts of the country. I mean, I talk about it as an Englishman who has watched a lot of soccer, particularly 20, 30 years ago when I was growing up. English teams would never do anything like what we see San Diego doing with this playing out from the back and short passes, getting the goalkeeper so involved. You would think it would be crazy to employ that tactic, but all these different cultures come together, and that's actually what makes MLS a really great league to watch, because it's got such a diverse group of players from all over the world. And the beauty of a good coach is that you've got to try and mesh these groups together. But you might have the Europeans who come from the colder climates of Europe and the traditional Scandinavian backgrounds, who are a bit more known for more of an English style, a bit more direct. And then you'll have the technical Southern European players who are so good on the ball, and they love the ball, they never want to give the ball away. And then South American players with all the passion and skill they bring to it. So that is one of the great things about the league right now, is that we have all that diversity across it, and you are trying to see which team comes out best with which style, and it's reflected as well in the teams. 30 teams now in this league, and no 2 teams are exactly the same. There's a lot of different styles across this league.
Yeah, certainly something I enjoy, seeing the different styles and seeing the different cultures kind of come together and their styles. It's a lot of fun to watch. Tony, we appreciate you. We always feel a little more educated every time we get somebody on from MLS on. You certainly did that for us here today.
Yes, you should have heard our questions the first week, Tony. We weren't quite Quite this on top of it.
I think I asked about shin guards. So.
Yeah, so we're coming along here.
Come on, say, look, there's no stupid questions when it comes to soccer. Hey, we all come out with some stupid lines as well. You know that. So there's no doubt that it's great to be on. It's great to talk about the team, and it's great to see a new market in San Diego. I'm a huge NFL fan. One of the reasons I kind of, when the opportunity came to move to the States, it was to embrace the American sports culture. I watched the San Diego Chargers for so many years. And so, I know what that was like with the team leaving. And so it's wonderful to see some of that void, filled with a soccer team now moving into the city as well. So, it's great to be on with you all. And I really hope that, the brand and the team continues to grow in Southern California.
No doubt. Tony, we appreciate your time, and we'll catch up again
Thanks,
soon.
Tony.
No problem.
Tony Husband, play-by-play for MLS Season Pass. We got to get to break. On the other side, we got some interesting topics that Chris will cover.
Yeah, I'm going to go home. I'm going home. I'll see you in a half an hour.
Chris, you have to actually break down the first article about Drake and Kendrick.
All right.
So
if you want to hear a bunch of gobbledygook, I'll do what I can.
Okay.
More gobbledygook on the other side.
Coming up on Friday's show, we're going to have a preview of Padres and Astros with Brandon Scott. Plus,
our friends at Roundtable. We got the Roundtable coming up at 5 o'clock. That's the Padres Roundtable, brought to you by Roundtable. So a lot of Roundtable happening at 5 o'clock. An hour of commercial-free talk about the 15-4 Padres with myself and Ben and Woodsy and Skraby and Braden and Paul. Good group.
Yeah.
Ben does a great job. I'm not trying to schmooze Ben.
No, he does.
He just does a really good job putting all that thing together, and we just kind of follow the lead. But right now, we all said the same thing kind of coming into it today, Tony, and that is the Padres are 15-4. It's getting harder and harder to come up with superlatives to keep describing them. You know, there's no negative to say, and it's all just so good. What else is there to do?
I've run out.
Yeah, just kick back and keep enjoying as long as it can.
People want us to rip it apart, though, which I don't even know how you can right now.
Who's people? That one guy who
haters.
tweeted you today?
No, doomers. Doomers.
Uh-huh.
They want to be like.
I honestly don't think there's that many doomers out there. I just think they're the loudest in the room.
They are, but they're also very quiet right now. So they're all waiting.
They're waiting to be doomers.
Oh, they're waiting for something to happen. The first 3-game losing streak. I knew this team was garbage. Xander Bogaerts.
It's only funny because it's probably.
Oh, somebody's already taped that message, and they just are going to hit the play button when they lose 3 in a row. And I say when because they will lose 3 in a row at some point.
No, they won't.
Okay. One last thing, and then we're going to get to your crazy 30-mile zone today, where we're talking about stuff I know nothing about. I think this was honestly designed just to make me look dumb. So we'll see what
wasn't the intention, but I'll take that.
I'm sure you
result.
I just want to point this out, and I think I have a couple times, but a reminder. The Padres are 15-4, despite the fact that they're not nearly at 100% health. Jackson Merrill will not even play on this road trip, nor will Brandon Lockridge. There's no telling when Jake Cronenworth will come back, or Yu Darvish. They're playing the whole season without Joe Musgrove. So the fact that they have this good a record with all of that going on is one thing. The second thing, to me, which is surprising, Tony, 19 home runs this year, 16 are solo shots. The other 3 are 2-run homers. So they have done what they have done without a single 3-run homer or obviously grand slam this year. They haven't had what you would really call the big fly, yet they're still finding enough ways to win. I saw last night during the Dodger game, LA is scoring 60% of its runs on the home run. That's good if you can hit a home run every night or 2, but I like what the Padres are doing a little better because they have different ways they can score. Serving them well.
Yes, no, I agree. I think that's I think ultimately it's tough when you're depending on the homer that much. You're going to go through some dry spells. But I also think that they depend on the homer, but they can also play the other way as well. But
right.
The point is, I think it's tough to win. Long term. That wasn't the case last year that they were scoring that much high of a percentage on the home run.
Yes, it's early, so it'll change probably. Yeah. All right, Skraby, go ahead. Time to embarrass me after traffic.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
A number of stalled vehicles on our roads this afternoon. Westbound 8, just before Taylor Street, stall over to the right shoulder, and a stall in the center divide on eastbound 8, just past Taylor Street. In East County, eastbound 8 before the 125, got a collision involving car and a motorcycle. It's over the right shoulder. And watch out for a mattress in middle lanes on southbound 163 near the 52. And Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
If you don't know your sports gossip, can you really call yourself a sports fan? It's time to bring together sports and celebrity gossip. We call it the 30-mile zone, mainly so we don't get sued by the real company. On 97.3 The Fan.
I think it's smart to ease into our stories today because of the biggest story that we have in the mix. So I'm going to start with something that happened at the Harbor Town Classic today. I don't even know if it's called that anymore, but
It's a golf tournament.
It's a golf tournament. It's in South Carolina at Harbor Town. It used to be the RBC Heritage. I still think it is. What is his name? Why did I just forget his name? The golfer that I'm going to talk. Billy Horschel. Sorry, jeez. Billy Horschel drove one on the 10th tee, Chris, and it hit a fan. I'm going to put up the picture of the fan's leg that he autographed because he hit the fan.
He autographed the leg.
So he circled the place where the ball hit, and you can see a massive lump.
Yes, there is.
Massive lump. So he signed it. He circled it. Apparently the fan was very excited that this happened to them. I have actually been at a golf tournament. I was at the U.S. Open in San Francisco when they played at the Olympic Club last time. And I was standing next to a guy who got hit by a drive off the tee. And let me tell you, he went down like a sack of potatoes. It was like, wow, this dude just got hit. He's on the ground. I don't know what to do.
Wait, where'd he get hit?
He got hit in the head. And I walked away because I didn't want to be anywhere near it. I was like, this is crazy.
Good job by you. Way to come to the person's aid.
I'm sorry. I should laugh at that because he could have been hurt.
Well, Skraby didn't
was
care.
he all right?
Skraby just walked off. He doesn't know if he was okay. He left the scene.
I did leave the scene. I didn't want anything to do with that.
Can you just, I'm sorry, can you imagine the sound that it would?
Oh, I will never forget the sound.
Like,
it's like a little bit. It sounds a little bit like lettuce being thrown into the ground, but like harder. I don't know. I will never forget this sound. It's so bad. So she's all right and everything. My dad also got hit by a golf ball by Lucas Glover, and he said Lucas Glover came over and offered him a glove, and he said, my dad said, "No, I'm good. I just didn't want to."
It would have been better if his name was Lucas Icer and he offered him some ice because that's what he needed.
That is true.
Glove wasn't going to help.
Icer. All right, moving on.
Real quick, did Tyrone Taylor, the Mets, sign Hunter Wendelstedt's
I was just
head?
about to bring that up because Hunter Wendelstedt, we did this yesterday on the show, but we didn't get Tony's opinion on it. And Tony was telling us before we talked about this that Hunter Wendelstedt is one of the better umpires that he likes in baseball.
Well, hold up.
You like him?
I like him.
Yes. Not better. Okay.
I don't know that his.
You like him as a
umpiring-
person?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play the video in the background, but he got hit with a line drive foul ball down the first base line yesterday. He was down pretty. We asked yesterday, Tony, do umpires start running?
Side of the head. Right.
That is the perfect angle for it.
Right, yeah.
But he apparently is okay. From all the things that I'm reading, he's alert and all that stuff. But he did take a foul ball right off the side of the head. So
I'm
otherwise known as the coconut.
I mean, he didn't know which way to go.
He kind of walked
Because
into
he
it.
did. Like the movements that he were making didn't seem like they went against not getting hit. It seemed like they moved right into it. But I hope it sounds like he's all right.
Yeah.
From what I gathered.
Yeah.
Saw this last night. And,
Trying to get up. Side of the head. Right.
I enjoyed Hunter, but I don't know that he's considered a great umpire in terms of the actual.
I may
calls.
scramble up a few of his calls for a week or two.
Oh, it's already happened. When you Google his name, you get Hunter Wendelstedt did this in the game. Sassy Hunter Wendelstedt.
Yeah.
Hunter's not going to take.
So should they wear a helmet, Tony, or do you think that they eventually will? Is probably a better question.
I mean, they can. I mean, remember, I don't know if you guys remember why they're wearing.
No, I told him yesterday. Right.
And you know, the interesting thing about that is I believe Poole got hit in the carotid artery, like in his throat. It wasn't even
the helmet would not have
necessarily
protected him even.
No, but I don't think it's. I mean, can you argue against more protection? I mean, I don't think so.
You sound bad if you argue against it, but I don't personally see the need for it. It's a once in a 5,000 game thing that happens, if that even. So now I sound like I don't care.
That's what I say. You
I know.
sound like you don't want to.
I know.
All right. let's get to the biggest story of today's 30 Mile Zone.
Skraby's been dying to do this.
Well, the only reason I put it in there is because Tony's all about
I
this.
just want to make sure. Can you come to me
when
first?
Have I ever brought this up on during the?
You haven't
actual
brought
show?
up this exact point, but you brought up the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef many times off the air.
Yeah, I want you to come to me first on this. I don't want Tony to steal my thunder here.
Oh, okay. I wonder what you're going to say. Drake is very unhappy with Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show, and he just filed an amended complaint where he specifically mentions Kendrick's performance of Not Like Us at the Super Bowl. The docs obtained by TMZ show that Drake claims Kendrick, quote unquote, assassinated his character, and he says Kendrick excluded the word pedophile from the lyrics. And it backs up Drake's claim that the song's content is defamatory because he didn't say it during the performance. Drake says dropping the word pedophile from the lyrics was the only change made to it, and he claims Kendrick would not have gotten the green light to sing the song unless he removed that word from it. And he says, quote, that is because nearly everyone understands that is defamatory to falsely brand someone a certified pedophile. So it's going to court. I don't know who's going to win here, but is Drake just seems to me. Actually, you know what, Chris, I'm going to you first.
You're supposed to go to Chris first.
Yep, going to you first.
Well, here's the thing about this. I mean, it's kind of surprising that it has come to this. I mean, they collaborated on Buried Alive Interlude in 2011. Lamar sang a 2-minute interlude on Drake's song. They actually worked together. Then you go forward to 2013, 2 years later, and they get in a big feud because Lamar's verse on the Big Sean song Control supposedly was something that Drake didn't like. Now Drake came back with his next song. Anyway, I can't believe it. I've really been thinking about. Can't believe it's come to this. I wish they could just become friends again.
I don't think it's ever going to happen.
No, I don't either.
Tony's giving you an applause. I'm going to give you an applause.
I looked it up just so I wouldn't be too stupid. But I will say this: if this came into my courtroom, it'd get tossed in a hurry.
Really?
I don't see even a case here. Honestly, I don't. But Tony probably knows more than me.
Oh man, everybody loved that. Chris nailed it. W for Chris. Epic Elo. Dang, Elo dropping some knowledge.
That's right.
Good for you, Chris.
Yes. Tony, you got anything on this since you follow this story every day?
It's silly. I don't follow it every day. Stop it. But it is silly, though. This is a rap beef that someone is upset that they got beat in.
You know, some may say doth protest too much.
Who? Drake's protesting too much?
If you protest too much, the thing that you're protesting is true.
If you click on the article that you put in the thing,
I'm here.
The Universal Music Group, quite spicy with their their filing today.
Do you want me to read that?
Yeah, you should. I think it's kind of funny.
All right, a spokesperson for Universal Music Group tells TMZ, quote, Drake, unquestionably one of the world's most accomplished artists and with whom we've enjoyed a 16-year successful relationship, is being misled by his legal representatives into taking one absurd legal step after another. In Texas last November, his counsel instituted a legal proceeding with much fanfare and bluster. On Monday, they quietly dropped the case, and it goes on and on. So even his music group is not a fan of it.
They're going to have to drop this case. I don't see any base for this case. The guy was singing his song, Kendrick, right? And he intentionally left lyrics out so as not to be defamatory.
In the real song, he says it. Right, Tony?
Yeah, it's less. I think it's less. It's less about he's using the Super Bowl to try to prove that is why it's a defamatory. That
because he took it out knowing that
it was. I think that's what he used it for. But listen, I don't think this is going to go very far. I think discovery is going to have to come on both sides, and I don't know.
I don't know if Drake wants people poking around his stuff.
You know what I'm saying? It just seems like this is a little silly.
Yeah, he's getting a little crazy.
Get out of my courtroom.
Here's another crazy story that I never thought I would see. Former NFL superstar Aaron Donald had to file for a restraining order and received a restraining order this week against a woman he says has been harassing, stalking, and threatening him and his family for several years. He alleged Janelle Anwar has been terrorizing him since 2020. He said that he's never met the woman, who he believes is between 30 and 40 years old, but she's sent him packages, gifts, and messages repeatedly. He also claimed that Anwar actually believes that she's married to Aaron Donald and filed for a dissolution action against him last month, demanding $1,500 per month and a settlement of $6.5 million. The court filing did say Anwar is delusional, and I fear that her delusions will lead to her attempting to harm me, my wife, my children, and my brother. Perhaps most disturbingly, Donald wrote in the docs that Anwar recently threatened his 3-year-old son's life in a Google chat. So there you go. This is very scary. This is extremely scary, and Aaron Donald is doing the right thing, but I don't even know what to say about something like this. This sounds like someone who is having a mental health crisis.
Not Aaron Donald.
The lady Janelle Anwar.
These kinds of things pop up, and this is part of the world of a celebrity, and it shouldn't be, but it unfortunately is. The tennis player, was it Raducanu?
Yeah,
had the fan stalking her. Come to one of her matches. Yeah. She broke down, couldn't even play tennis with this person in the stands. This is going on far too much. But other than being secure, and we look at some of these celebs and we go, why do they have 14 security people around?
This is why.
This is why. People. Yeah. Yes. This is why you have to almost.
It really does. I mean, in today's society, being famous almost comes with this. To different levels, right? This is probably at the highest level, right, in terms of craziness. But I mean, that's what you do. Sometimes the simple life is just a little bit better in terms of the extracurricular you got to deal with.
But then when you do have a crazy person harassing you, no one wants to do anything because you're not famous.
What I would like to think is that you could get some support from the justice court system, whatever.
You got a restraining order.
Restraining order. What does that really do?
I think
you're not allowed to go within 100 feet.
It's supposed to be a deterrent. But but somebody like this, is that really a deterrent though?
I don't think so.
The scariest cases to me are the ones that think they're in a relationship.
Yeah, you're within 100 feet.
Hey, when you're in 60 feet, get away. That's not going to do it.
I can't even imagine someone being like, I'm filing for dissolution of our marriage, and you owe me $6.5 million.
And
like,
you don't even know her.
That's crazy.
This is going to be an oversimplification because I don't mean to make light of people that do have mental illness, and that does exist in this world.
It does.
In a case like this, you're going to have to check somebody in. I mean, you just are. I mean, if you're honestly going through life thinking this, they need a little help here.
Yeah, they do.
That would be better than giving them a restraining order. Frankly,
but like Tony said, it's like the first step into, all right, next time it gets a little bit more serious,
right? Because
paperwork.
It's all good if the person is smart enough not to respect the restraining order. Yeah. If they don't, I mean, that's probably scary in itself. Like they showing up, like they clearly don't care about it.
Yeah,
when like at that point, like what do you do? Like.
At that point, you hope that they lock her up.
Yeah, that's scary.
All right, let's get this last story in before we head to break. But Lee Corso, ESPN's College Game Day guy, it has been announced that he is going to be retiring from ESPN's College Game Day. He's going to do week 1 on August 30th, and then he's going to retire. He's 89. He's going to be 90 when the finale happens, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to pour cold water on this. Never been a Lee Corso guy. I think he's just kind of ridiculous.
I'm not going to pour cold water. I have watched Game Day for a long time. I think it was time for Lee to retire.
I thought he did retire like 8 years ago.
No, he was on there last year, and I'm not going to lie, at times, and that crew around him does a really good job of being able to support him because it's not the same Lee Corso that we had grown accustomed to, where he was, super energetic, throwing on the mascot, or when he was picking the teams. It's not that same no more. And he looks like it's time for him to get some rest.
Yeah. Chris?
I'm looking this up, 30 years ago that he first donned the headgear. It was for an Ohio State game. They won the game. He put the headgear on. They won. So now everybody wanted him to do that moving forward. Probably should have, 89-year-old people don't walk around
Right.
in headgear like this.
Right.
So what? I don't care how old
You didn't
he
mind
is.
that.
No.
But yeah, it was time. But give him credit, man. He hung in there. He did
He was
everything he
awesome.
could for as long as he could. I'm okay with it. I understand it was a little difficult, right? To try to get him through a few sentences there. But so be it, man. He hung in and he was worth it. I think people wanted to still watch him.
I totally get that. I never was really a college game day person anyway because I didn't go to a college that had football. So
Lee Corso's only bowl victory as a head coach was right here, the Holiday Bowl 20 years ago. He's the head coach of Indiana, and they beat BYU. For that, I thank you, Lee Corso.
It always comes back to that.
It always
All
comes
right.
back to that.
That is it for 30 Mile Zone. When we get back, we have Chris versus the fans. You're going to be playing for a qualification for a grand prize to Las Vegas. So give us a call, 833-288-0973. Thank you for listening to 97.3 The Fan. Be back shortly. I would be back shortly if the thing will click. See, I'm clicking. I have no idea what's happening. It's not playing any commercials right now. Well, this is just great, everybody. Let me see if I could try to start another one. All right. Well, this is awesome. On the air right now with no help, and there are no commercials to be played. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, everybody? You're getting a real live thing right here. This is real live Matt Skraby. I'm going to have to restart Wide Orbit real quick. So goodbye, Wide Orbit. It's not even closing. I'm going to text Adam, and I'm going to say, Adam, I tried to go to break and the commercials did not play, and the program won't shut down. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have to do some Control-Alt-Delete over here. Control-Alt-Delete. Okay, I got it. Task Manager. It's not coming up. There it goes. Task Manager came up, everybody. I have no idea. I'm way too generous with my stroke giving. Never mind.
Are you really?
Never mind.
Wait.
I did not
Let's
mean
explore
for that to happen. I did not.
That sounds like a promo to me.
Skraby's giving out strokes. I can't wait to hear that one. I'm gonna laugh for a while on that one.
Nate says, Skraby, maybe you should date her.
You might be a generous stroke giver, but I don't think she really wants to leave her boyfriend for that.
All right, that was good. In full disclosure, I'm reading this. Tony can't gather himself right now. That was a good one, Chris. That was a really good one. So I saw this at 7-Eleven, and I had to get it. It's called the One Chip Challenge. It was sitting there in the aisle, and I thought, why not? Because I am into spicy stuff. But this thing looks pretty hot. I'm not going to lie. It says a Reaper pepper and a Scorpion pepper. It's also in the shape of a coffin, which doesn't make me very happy about that. Doesn't make me feel good. Oh, extreme heat, it says. I'm going to try a little bit first, just so I don't die, I guess. That's the thing I'm saying. This looks... I don't even know if I should be eating this. It looks like it has mold or something, but let's see how hot it is. Let's go. There's a little bit of spice there. It's going. Oh, man. This is hot. Not that bad, though. I still have this side to go. It is getting hot. I'm not going to lie. My mouth is, like, getting crazy. Now it's kicking in. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish this. Honestly, it's getting serious. I got to go with the milk. My mouth is dying right now. Yeah, this is not fun, guys. Never gonna do that again because my mouth is on fire. Thank you for listening to 97.3 The Fan. Be back shortly. I would be back shortly if the thing will click. See, I'm clicking. I have no idea what's happening. It's not playing any commercials right now. Well, this is just great, everybody. Let me see if I could try to start another one. All right. Well, this is awesome. On the air right now with no help, and there are no commercials to be played. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, everybody? You're getting a real live thing right here. This is real live Matt Skraby. I'm going to have to restart Wide Orbit real quick. So goodbye, Wide Orbit. It's not even closing. I'm going to text Adam, and I'm going to say, Adam, I tried to go to break and the commercials did not play, and the program won't shut down. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have to do some Control-Alt-Delete over here. Control-Alt-Delete. Okay, I got it. Task Manager. It's not coming up. There it goes. Task Manager came up, everybody. I have no idea. I'm way too generous with my stroke giving. Never mind.
Are you really?
Never mind.
Wait.
I did not mean for that to happen. I did not.
That sounds like a promo to me.
Skraby's giving out strokes. I can't wait to hear that one. I'm gonna laugh for a while on that one.
Nate says, Skraby, maybe you should date her.
You might be a generous stroke giver, but I don't think she really wants to leave her boyfriend for that.
All right, that was good. That was good. In full disclosure, I'm reading this. Tony can't gather himself right now. That was a good one, Chris. That was a really good one. So I saw this at 7-Eleven, and I had to get it. It's called the One Chip Challenge. It was sitting there in the aisle, and I thought, why not? Because I am into spicy stuff. But this thing looks pretty hot. I'm not going to lie. It says a Reaper pepper and a Scorpion pepper. It's also in the shape of a coffin, which doesn't make me very happy about that. It doesn't make me feel good. Oh, extreme heat, it says. I'm going to try a little bit first, just so I don't die, I guess. That's the thing I'm saying. This looks... I don't even know if I should be eating this. It looks like it has mold or something, but let's see how hot it is. Let's go. There's a little bit of spice there. It's going. Oh, man. This is hot. Not that bad, though. I still have this side to go. It is getting hot. I'm not gonna lie. My mouth is like getting crazy. Now it's kicking in. I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish this. Honestly, it's getting serious. I gotta go.
Oh, it's my turn, huh? 4:01 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello. 6:01 on the clock here in Houston, Texas. Padres begin a 3-game set against the
Careful.
Against the Astros. So happens when you're eating in between the break.
I thought you had a cracker there for a minute.
No, it was some muffin that not quite down the right spot.
We share all of our eating habits around here. Tony's having a muffin.
At least it's not in this studio.
What difference does it make? Chris has got his crackers there, I'm sure.
He doesn't.
Crackers are on a little hiatus at the moment, which is good.
Goodness.
Yeah, Skraby's very happy.
I cannot stand the smell of those crackers.
Been going with yogurt lately, Tony.
Skraby, you used to come in there with bok choy.
No.
Time.
Thomas brought in bok choy.
You brought some too, buddy. It didn't smell
did not.
great. Yes, you did.
It didn't smell great.
Thomas used to come in with like bok choy, heat it up in the microwave, and then just sit in the corner and eat it. And we're all like, that smells horrible, Thomas.
It smells atrocious. Got a Chris versus the fan coming up. Chris, you still dominating? I haven't been here for one of these in a little bit.
Last couple, he hasn't really even had a chance because the callers have
been on it, huh?
Yeah, callers have been good lately. So I'm happy to step out of the way, let them show their knowledge, see what they can do today.
All right, let's step on out the way and let's see what they can do today.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. Here is what you are playing for. You'll be qualified for the grand prize, 2 tickets to either Disturbed, Ghost, or Pantera in Las Vegas, plus a 2-night stay at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, and a $150 gift card. Get tickets for all 3 shows at Ticketmaster.com. Now, the rules, you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question, or you win. If you're a first-time player, nice job, then you'll get that. You just need to let us know, and you get that first question for free today. All right. With that said, Tony's got the questions. I will go and let's pick Sean.
Sean, welcome to the show. Happy Thursday to you.
Hello, happy Thursday.
Hi, Sean.
All right, Sean, here we go. Let's get rolling. Sean, who won the Masters this past Sunday?
Rory McIlroy.
Skraby's guy, Rory McIlroy.
Question number 2. Who won the Masters this past Sunday? Question number 3. Who wore the green jacket on Sunday?
You know, you got a lot of hate mail after you took down Rory's therapist.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you got hate mail? I missed it.
Yeah, no, I got hate mail in my inbox because I was kind of upset that Chris was making fun of therapy.
I wasn't making fun of therapy at all. I was making fun of his therapist.
We'll talk about.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We gotta get to that. All right, here we go. Question number 2. Man, this is
diabolical.
This is kind of diabolical. Here we go. Mike Scioscia was a longtime major league manager. Skraby wants you to spell his last name.
Oh, tough.
SCIOSCA.
So close.
Stay there.
SCIOSCIA.
Wait, say it one more time.
SCIOSCIA. He left out the I believe. The second I. Close.
I'm sorry.
You
Sean.
lucky Skraby gave you another crack
I know.
at that
I'm
too.
thinking, does Sean move on because he did answer the wrong way?
I did not.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you did. You left out the I the first time.
Yeah, the
and
first
then
time you went
when he said say it
SCO.
again, you spelled it the right way.
Well, then let him move on. It's
Oh.
okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
If I missed it, I
Sean, you're
missed
still
it.
there.
Sean, you're still alive.
So I'm still alive?
You're
still
How's it
alive,
actually
buddy.
spelled? How's it actually spelled?
SCIOSCIA.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
What I want to know is it SHAWN or is it SEAN?
It's SHAWN.
Is it?
That's what I
Yes,
have-
it is.
That's what I have on the screener.
I like that letter.
I was so lost there.
Yeah,
y'all.
me
I was
too for a
trying-
second, but then I picked it up.
I'm trying to. I don't know.
All right, that was just how to spell Sean's name. All right, here we go. Question number 3.
Hold on, I gotta change one thing. Okay, there we go.
Who is the only player in history to hit a walk-off inside the park grand slam home run?
What?
Only been one guy in the history of baseball to hit a walk-off inside the park grand slam.
Ooh, doggy.
I'm not even going to guess.
Okay.
I'll let this go.
All right, strategy.
Smart.
It's not bad. I mean, you'd hate to name one because now if you did, the fact that you didn't leaves my odds at 460,000 players for one. Roberto Clemente.
Oh my
way.
goodness!
Get out of here.
You've got to be kidding
No
me.
way.
You've
joking.
got to be kidding me.
That's a joke. That's an absolute joke.
Sean, that's a hang with him.
That is a joke. That you got that right.
He's the first player that popped into my head for no reason at all.
I got 460,000 in
Those
odds.
were the
right
odds.
now.
I just wrecked myself to ever win the lottery because I'll never hit those odds again.
I'm really sorry, Sean. That
He
is
really hit a
brutal.
walk-off
Wow.
grand slam inside the park?
According
He's
to the
the
Hall of
only
Fame
one.
website.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. That's Sean, that I owe you, man. That's bad.
That's diabolical.
That was a complete
right
total stab at just a name that I like. Roberto Clemente.
there. No way he just said Roberto. But all right, who's our next contestant?
I'm angry right now, but we're gonna go with the Wyatt.
Wyatt, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior. Here we go. Question numero uno. What state is the Masters played in?
That is Georgia.
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 All right.
There we go.
Masters questions are gone, guys.
Question number 2.
Rory McIlroy.
Dusty Baker won his first and only World Series with what team?
Is that the Houston Astros?
Nice job.
Hey, got it.
Count it. On to question number 3.
Roberto Clemente. I'm just going with it. Who was the 1971 World Series MVP? Roberto Clemente.
Who leads baseball in RBIs today?
Going into today? As of
now.
this morning.
Right
Right
at
now.
this moment.
Right at this moment.
Got a couple names in my head. I'll throw one out, which I don't think there's 40,000 for Chris to pick from if I'm wrong here, but I'm going to go Pete Alonso.
Pete
Pete?
Alonso. Stay there.
Looked this up this morning. Wilmer Flores. I don't know why I looked it up this morning. I was seeing if the Padres had anybody in the top of the RBI list.
Sorry, Wyatt.
Wilmer is correct.
That's just bad luck again, Wyatt. I looked it up this morning for my own crazy reasons.
It's kind of crazy that Wilmer Flores leads.
That is a
baseball
little
in
crazy.
RBIs.
That is, but
Better stop pitching to Wilmer. He keeps
Wilmer.
hurting teams.
Yeah.
All right, Scrape, we're going to need another contestant there, buddy.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have to go tiebreaker. Let's go Thomas in San Diego. Not our Thomas, I don't think.
Hi, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas.
Hello, boys. I won't microwave any bok choy today.
All right, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Are we doing
We're gonna do questions.
questions here?
Yeah, questions.
Okay, here we go. First question. What NBA team fired their coach a few days ago?
I don't really pay attention to NBA. Gotta be someone who didn't make the playoffs. I'm gonna go with. I don't even know who didn't make the playoffs. I'm gonna go with the Kings.
The Kings.
They just fired their GM and then
They fired
hired
their
a new
coach,
GM.
but it was like either in the middle of the season.
A lot of coaches were fired recently. I mean, but I have
It's a
to.
very
I have
vague
to.
question.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a vague question. After the season, the team that fired their coach was. I forgot.
Oh wow.
I did because it happened too recently. I don't do good on recent. I'd say the Nuggets. I'm not. I don't want to take time to think of it. I can't remember.
Remember, it was Craig Elston's doppelganger.
It was Budenholzer. Yeah. All right. Good for you, Thomas. Take advantage of it.
That is a good one. All right, question number 2. Who leads baseball in home runs?
Tyler Soderstrom.
Nice.
Because I knew Chris was gonna know that.
Yeah, I knew that because Skraby, when I brought him up last week,
I scoffed.
"Who's he? Why do we worry about him?"
Now, if you get this one, Chris, somehow, I think we might have to
Shut the game down.
shut the game down. Here we go. Question number 3. Which NL Central?
My fault. Done yesterday.
Which NL Central player has the active streak for consecutive games with a hit this season?
Longest hitting streak is what you're saying.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go with my favorite guy in the NL Central, Jackson Churio.
Ooh,
Cheerio.
Stay there.
Well, I'm scared to get it now.
Why? Because I'll attack you.
No, I'm assuming it's somebody with a pretty high batting average. I just saw the list of batting average the other day, but I'm not going to get this. O'Neal Cruz.
O'Neal Cruz. He went deep today.
Oh,
Big
Lead
fly.
off homer.
Okay. Hey,
Nice.
We got ourselves a
job.
winner.
Thomas, stay right there.
The actual answer, Brendan Donovan of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yep, he is leading the league in hitting, and if I would have remembered that, that's probably who I would have guessed.
And I was checking to make sure because that question was written on Tuesday. He did extend his streak yesterday with a hit, but I think
I'm
they're
glad
playing right
I'm
now.
glad I missed it. I didn't want to ruffle the whole history of the game.
Was that Thomas that one right there?
Thomas,
Thomas.
good
Nice
job,
work,
Thomas. Way to go.
Hang on the line. We got to get. Oh, I think it's too late, huh? We're gonna have to. Roll this out for another 5 minutes, gentlemen.
That gives me time to complain about the Chicago Bulls performance last night.
Let's
Tony,
go ahead and get after it a little bit.
They win 15 of their last 20 games, which I assume was just designed to get my hopes up because they looked like one of the worst teams in the NBA last night.
They laid an egg, for real.
They really did. I know Miami, gets all the credit, and Tyler Hero's a good player. But I would score 38 points if they let me drive in and dunk the ball on every possession. It was, I don't know if you watched the very beginning of the game, Tony.
I did.
Miami went 9 for 10 to start the game. Every basket was a layup. It was like, are you kidding me? And it just got worse from there. I didn't really, by that time, it was kind of over right at the beginning. I don't understand how you come out for a game and are that ill prepared, but they were. So bad performance.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than watching your team give up layup after layup.
Layup after layup.
Like no one doing anything. Like not even fouling somebody. So
yes, at least put them on the ground one time. I don't think they were close enough to foul him, frankly. I mean, they were just running.
I looked up at one point, it was 71-47. And
that was halftime. And then the old that's where the DVR comes in handy. I fast forward through the second half and I check every about 5-10 minutes to see if they've closed the gap. And then I just move on and the game's over. But that's what you get. If you don't have a good enough team to actually make the playoffs, then one game can eliminate you, and that's what happens. So
that's some good news in the NBA though in terms of this playoffs. I don't know if you saw this, Damian Lillard taking off of the blood thinners medication, so it seems like he's going to be in the playoffs. That changes, I think, Milwaukee's perspective of things now.
They play the Pacers. You got Minnesota. I think this is a good matchup. I want to ask you, since we have 3 minutes till we're allowed to take a break now.
2 minutes.
2:10. Is your concern that we had about the Laker ball club when they first made the trade that they would have no defense in the interior? Is that still a legitimate concern? Or have they answered that at all in your mind?
Yes, it's still a legitimate concern. I think they have answered it.
Okay.
But, put it this way, their strategy when they had Anthony Davis was to play good defense, but if he got by you had a big there to protect. When they've been right on defense now, it's just a pure effort thing and guys getting to the spots that they're supposed to be. And so the question becomes, can they do that for the entirety of a playoff run in order to get to a championship? I don't know. It's still a concern, but I'm less concerned based off of the fact that I've seen them for stretches of time play best defense in the league type deal for 5, 6, 7 game stretch. That's not the same as being able to do all playoffs. And if they're not doing it, that just means offensively they have to be money all series. So I like them in this. I like them all the way through. I think it gets tough once you get into that conference final area, because I think the closer you get to the finals, the more bigs these teams are going to have. And that's, do you have enough?
Yeah, Minnesota is going to be a challenge, but not as big a challenge because they don't have Cat and they do have Randall, which I just don't think has ever worked. The second round for the Lakers, to me, is going to be the Warriors. I can't see how the Warriors, with all that experience, are going to lose to the Rockets, even though the Rockets have a better regular season record. And I think the Rockets, even though the Warriors won the last meeting, I think the Lakers and Warriors match up pretty well. And I think the Lakers can beat them. I think
I am much more scared of the Golden State Warriors than I am of the Rockets.
Oh, you are? Because of the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
You'd rather have the Rockets win and go up against the inexperienced.
I would.
But watch out on the other side. Charles Barkley and others have said, look out for the Clippers to come through on the other side. Don't know if that can happen, but people say they're getting hot at the right time.
In terms of teams that I'm the most scared of, I'd say the Clippers are probably that team. I really do, because Kawhi is healthy. He's playing extremely well. He's at like a high. Norman Powell's been playing well all season long. And let's not forget James Harden is I think probably done his best job in terms of leading a team, because remember, Kawhi had to miss a long time, and he was really the reason why they stayed in it while Kawhi was down, and then when Kawhi came back, they've been able to play off each other. And the other wild card is Zubac. I've always been very irritated that, it's one of the few things I didn't like about Magic being there is he traded Zubac there to the Clippers. And I've watched him get better every year. And now he's probably going to be up for a defensive player of the year type deal.
NBA playoffs start Saturday, according to Tony. They're not yet underway.
That's right.
Okay.
Is Saturday the first? I thought it was Sunday.
Lakers play Saturday.
I would say that's an issue for the NBA.
All right, Skraby, we got to go. We got to go, buddy.
Okay.
We got to get to break.
All right.
From the 855.
Matt Skraby, Gwynn and Chris. Tony's in Houston. Padres will take on the Astros, first of a 3-game series tomorrow. 5 o'clock, 5:10 tomorrow. We will be on prior to the game from 2 o'clock to about 4 tomorrow. So make sure you get here on time. Jason Adam will be our Friar Friday guest on tomorrow's show. We'd already mentioned earlier that the NL West now, because the Diamondbacks won today. Giants lost, by the way. We never gave a final there. Phillies 6-4 was the final. But even with that, the top 4 records in the all of Major League Baseball right now are in the NL West. 1, 2, 3, 4. Padres, Dodgers, Giants, Diamondbacks. But apparently, Tony Gwynn Jr., the Rockies haven't given up yet. That's right. The Rockies fired their hitting coach today, Hensley Mullins.
Clint's coming back.
And they've replaced him with old Clint Hurdle, who managed them to their only World Series almost 20 years ago.
How could they fire a guy when they actually score runs against the Dodgers?
They did. They scored some runs last night. Got 7, I believe.
Got 3 the night before.
They had a big series in L.A. They almost won one of the games.
Right.
Anyway, so Clint Hurdle's coming in to try to rescue the Rockies from the depth. Here's how deep they are, Tony. Not only the worst record, we know that, but the White Sox are a minus 22 run differential. They're the second worst. The Rockies are minus 51.
Yeah,
Not even close.
You get shut out 3 straight days. It'll put you behind the 8 ball a little bit.
That's where they are. So, Clint's a good guy.
He
can't swing the bat for them, but maybe he can help them.
He knows hitting though. He's a good hitting guy. You know what I remember? Clint is when he was the manager of the Rockies. You know, he come over and he was introducing himself to some of the guys or saying hello to some of the guys. This is when I was in Milwaukee. I'll never forget this. He used to shake hands where he'd turn you over. So his hand was on the top. Okay. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to going, one hand on the side, he'd turn you over. Ooh. And I remember he did it to Prince. He was so fielder.
Comfy with that?
Well, I think it happened, and I think he thought about it. And this is how deep mental warfare gets sometimes when you're playing baseball every day. He was so perturbed. He's like, next time I'm gonna make sure I get on top, man. He kind of turned me over. I think it's a mental game he's playing with me there.
Really?
Yeah.
Prince was did Prince get another opportunity?
You better believe he did.
And then they were fighting over whose hand should be on top. Probably looked like a comedy sketch at that point.
I remember that, but I think I don't know that this move is gonna do much.
I don't either, but
at
least it keeps Bud Black employed. I think Bud's the greatest. I think the world of him. He has no chance, but how does he mentally do it? Has anyone asked him how do you watch this every day?
I don't even want to ask him.
I know you can't ask it, right?
It's
just got to be so difficult because he's a competitor. He is.
Yeah,
we're all competitors. You don't want to lose every game. But anyway, all right. I was going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, but I threw a curve and we missed Aaron Rodgers. So let's take a break. Come back with the Big Five. It's okay, Aaron. We don't really need to hear from you that badly.
Gwynn and Chris.
You know what I hate? I gotta tell you this. You ever been scrolling down Instagram and you find a clip that you like or something you want to save, and then your freaking Instagram resets?
Yes, I do know that
Just
feeling.
before you can click the button.
And then you didn't look to see where it was coming from?
You're never going to find it again.
I'm never going to find it. I'm so irritated right now. I found a good clip so I could share it with my daughters. Came from Mallory Swanson, Dansby's wife. And it was a perfect clip. Something I've been talking to him about, not that if you're not good at something, you can keep working. And she just kind of explained it. I was just about to hit the screen recorder. And then it reset, and I did not look to see where it was coming from. I'm so irritated.
That is an issue. You can't just have your content disappear.
Yeah, man. Like,
doesn't Instagram know you're looking at it too? They can track.
Of course
how long
they
you
know.
hover on
They
something.
hear me. They see me. They know all of it.
That is, they hear me. They see me.
They're taking my stats down and my credit card number.
Right. So they definitely have it. They know what I was looking at.
No, they do.
I'm so irritated.
Can't you type in, was it Mallory Swanson?
I could, but then I gotta
You don't
go.
think that'll
It's like then you're down a rabbit hole at that point.
Instagram search isn't the greatest.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's really hard to find something on Instagram search. Sorry to have that happen to you, Tony.
It's so
one of life's little debacles.
It is. We got a big five to get to. Let's check some traffic, and then we'll get to the big five.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Jack in the Box. Folks seem to be having a tough time navigating our roads this afternoon, guys. What's going on? South 5 before the 52. Collision blocking the right lanes. Now up ahead before SeaWorld Drive. Reports of another crash, not showing if lanes are blocked. Then a crash just before Pacific Highway. This one appears to be over to the right shoulder. Also, westbound 8, right at the southbound 805 connector ramp. There's a collision blocking the right lane of that transition. Southbound 163 past the 8. Reports of a stalled car in middle lanes. And eastbound 905 just past Siempre Viva. 2-car collision over to the right shoulder. You're going to want to sit down for this, the jumbo breakfast platter from Jack in the Box. No, seriously, it's so munch food. There's French toast sticks, grilled sausage patty, hash brown, and scrambled eggs, all for just $3.99. Get all this and so much more at Jack in the Box. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right.
By the way, I saw you get scared, Chris, when I said freaking.
It is close.
I know that Tony's close. He's close to the button.
I don't think I've ever had to hit the button on Tony. I don't know if I have.
No, you've hit the button on me, even though you didn't need to.
You hit it 2 weeks ago on him. He said a different word from taking a whiz. He didn't say that.
Yeah,
good point.
That was one.
Still, I hate the term taking a whiz.
Yeah, I didn't know that that wasn't allowed to be said. And then you kind of explained the verb versus noun thing to me. Yes. I'm good.
Yes. Chris had to dump me a couple weeks ago. I didn't know you couldn't say a word. Anyway, tune into the Manager's Report with Mike Schilt this Friday at 9 a.m. on Ben & Woods. That's tomorrow. The Manager's Report is refreshed by EcoWater SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. All right, let's get into the Big Five, and we're going to start with a Padres story today.
Number 5.
And Foul Territory, they're doing some good things. I love what they put out there. And they were interviewing former Mariners manager Scott Service. And I kind of put this out of my mind, but he is now an employee with the San Diego Padres. He is a player development guy. And so they asked him a pretty interesting question, like, what's the difference between San Diego and Seattle? Because you both have two GMs that aren't afraid to trade, but it seems like the Mariners make a lot of moves, not get better. AJ Preller goes out, makes big moves. and shiny objects, all that stuff. So here's Scott Service talking about the differences between the two franchises.
For me, kind of seeing what the Padres done, and I just came on board here in January, there are stark differences. There's no question about it. I think the thing that stood out for me first was just the number of people who work for the Padres and the different departments that they have and how they're built out. It's just different. Doesn't make it right or wrong, or it's just a different vibe to it. But, as far as trying to win every game or winning 154%, whatever, I know Mike Schultz is trying to win every game, and he's done an awesome job. Just from afar, kind of seeing what's going on with our major league team and the staff and what the job that they did in preparing our guys to get ready to get off to a good start. Every manager says, God, I want to get out of the gate in a good place, keep everybody healthy. But if you can get off and get off on a good start, just the confidence grows. You feel it around the stadium, the fan base, everybody gets excited. And we did an awesome job. Credit to our major league staff for getting our guys ready to go. And the start that we're off to has been fantastic. So, again, it's a long season. And I get different teams.
And so he just goes on to say different teams do different things, and Padres do it this way. And it sounds like he likes the Padres way a little bit better than he likes the Mariners way. But my question for you, Tony, is this. Should major league teams, or are the Padres at a point where major league teams should emulate what they're doing?
I don't know that it's it's not a new thing. So it's not like the Padres have cornered the market on how to go about constructing a team. I think they found their sweet spot in terms of what that looks like from the player development all the way up to the big league level. And so not everybody's going to evaluate the same. Not everybody's going to have the same idea in terms of how you develop. And so there's so many different ways. If the Padres consistently, remember right now we got this, even year thing where the Padres reach the playoffs every even year.
Yeah.
If that becomes like an every year thing, you'll start to see teams probably emulate the way it is. Padres are on the right track. I think if they continue to do this and it becomes a playoff deal every year, you'll see more teams doing it.
Chris? Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
No, that's it.
Chris?
I say big fat no.
No. Teams are not going to emulate the Padres.
I don't say they're not going to. I don't think they are.
They will.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I don't think anybody emulates a team that, has never won the World Series. We are a copycat world, but we copycat the champs. And so I see people looking at the Dodgers and others before they would look at the Padres.
Problem is,
although I think the Padres are doing just fine, I don't think that would be what.
Yeah, if their way it ends up bringing a championship,
then everybody will be in on it.
All right, Dodgers are you can't emulate the Dodgers because you don't have billions of dollars to lay away.
Well, you can emulate the way they develop players to complement the money they have.
That is true.
Number 4.
The National League is shaping up to be a beast this season, and there could be lots of battles for playoff spots as the year goes along. And MLB.com put up an article, your guys' favorite, guessing which teams not at the top of their divisions would be a part of the playoffs come October.
They're doing this article already?
Yes, they list the
How
Braves.
about who's going to be in first place on Memorial Day? Can we try that first? Because that's going to be difficult enough to guess.
As soon as I saw this, I was like, these guys are going to hate this, but I'm bringing it anyway. They list the Braves, Diamondbacks, Brewers, Reds, Cardinals, and Giants as teams that are going to be battling for those spots. But Chris, which 3 of those teams do you think we'll see come playoff time?
Between the Brewers, the Giants, and the Cardinals?
No, the Braves, Diamondbacks, Brewers, Reds, Cardinals, and Giants.
I think we'll see. I'm going to take a wild guess at this. I'm going to say we'll see the Braves.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I think once they get Acuna back, they got Strider back now. They're hurting pretty bad, I admit. They're 5-14?
I don't know.
But again, that's not, impossible to overcome. I'll pick the Braves. The Diamondbacks are second. The rest I don't think will make it.
All right. Tony, which of these teams, Braves, Diamondbacks, Brewers, Reds, Cardinals, and Giants, will make it? Which 3 of those teams?
I would say it's the Diamondbacks first, then the Cards. Or not the Cards. Diamondbacks, then the Giants is what I would say.
And then Brewers?
No, then the Braves.
Okay.
Then the Brewers, then everybody else.
All right. Why are you looking at me like that, Chris?
It's really hard to do that.
I know. That's why I love
10
asking
games
you
into the
guys
season.
Well, it's actually 19, but
Number 3.
NCAA's football is changing some rules for the coming season. They have approved changes designed to prevent players from going down with an injury to slow down offenses playing at a fast tempo. Starting in 2025, a team will be charged a timeout if its training staff enters the field to look at a player who has gone down after the ball was spotted for the next play. If a player goes down after the ball is spotted and his team doesn't have any timeouts remaining, the team will be assessed a 5-yard delay of game penalty. Also, teams will no longer get 1 timeout per overtime period if a game goes to a third overtime. Teams will still get 1 timeout for each of the first 2 overtimes, but if a game heads to the 2-point conversion shootout starting in the third overtime, each team will have 1 timeout to use for the rest of the game. So they don't get anything as the game goes along after the third one. Tony, did these rules need to be changed?
Jeez Louise, that was a lot.
Okay,
Yeah, next time, tell him to get an abacus to keep up with all the changes.
Well, because if I don't read exactly what they changed,
man.
you're going to be like, well, you didn't read exactly what they changed. So I can't answer this.
So what was
Okay,
the
so
changes
basically they're saying that you can't have a player fake an injury anymore or else you get
that
a penalty.
one needed to be addressed. Yes, that one needed to be addressed.
Timeout. You don't get any more timeouts starting with the third overtime. You only get 1 for the rest of the game after
this
that.
one did not need to be addressed. I don't see how that 1 timeout
it was really bothersome.
Well, it takes a long time.
Well, I mean, the whole game
You've
is
already
taking
been
long
there
at that
for 4
point.
hours at
Right.
that point.
What
2 more
difference is
minutes.
1 timeout gonna do?
Also, the Dan Lanning rule is like finalized. You can't. What was it? You can't take a penalty for a delay of game when the time runs out. You remember when he did that?
Oh yeah, that's right. And he was patting his own back about how great his staff was. For coming
He was
up
like
with it.
this. He was like,
Yeah.
I
So,
did that,
you know,
everybody.
Now you can't do it. Well, who knows? That's college. They may still be able to do it in college, but
he'll find a way.
Yes, no, I think you remove those type of loopholes, especially if you know teams are going to try to take advantage of them.
Chris, as a resident referee,
Well, the injury rule was, I almost didn't think it needed to be in. I think it's sad that it needs to be in. The teams are like trying to deceive so badly now that they yell out to their big 300-pound lineman to fall down, and they do it. And nobody found anything wrong with this. I mean, now so they have to put a rule in. I think it's kind of sad. Secondly, I don't care about any other rules in college football or any college sports being changed right now. Instead, spend that time more wisely and figure out a way to make the NIL and transfer thing work better, because college sports is not going to be wrecked by a kid falling down on the field. But it may be wrecked by this transfer and NIL thing.
I did think about that. They should be focusing on the important things.
I would think, yes.
All right.
Number 2.
It's never been really their strong suit, by the way.
No.
Focusing on the
We're
important things.
waiting for the NCAA to save the NCAA. It's not going to happen. Yeah.
Cal Raleigh reached 100 homers in 482 games yesterday, second fastest in Mariners history behind A-Rod at 470 games. Jim Presley, Alvin Davis, and then Ken Griffey Jr. round out the top 5. So Ken Griffey Jr. needed 640 games to hit those 100 homers, as Cal Raleigh, I said, 482. He homered from both sides of the plate yesterday for the 4th time in his career, which ranks 3rd for a catcher in Major League history. Former Yankees star Jorge Posada did it 8 times, and Todd Hundley accomplished the feat 5 times. So, Chris, you're up first. Do we not give Cal Raleigh enough credit for being a top-tier catcher?
I don't know if he is a top. I don't know enough about him. Honestly, I know he hit a lot of home runs last year. I also know he struck out more than any player in baseball by, I think, a wide margin. So he's a bit of an all or nothing.
All right.
Does he deserve to be in the same, category you're asking me is like what? William Contreras,
Adley Rutschman, JT Realmuto.
He's a big power threat. He does not strike me as a great catcher yet.
All right. Tony,
I don't know.
Do we not give Cal Raleigh enough credit for being a good catcher?
Maybe. I think, I don't know. He doesn't do anything that stands out to me catching wise.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. That's both ways. Like, he's not bad.
He did win a Gold Glove, by the way.
Yeah, and he's got a pretty decent arm. Maybe so. I mean, you start thinking about how quick he got to this 100
He has
homers.
a platinum glove even.
Yeah,
I take it back. Cal Riley is highly underrated.
Yeah, no. I think when you start putting it into that context, right? Platinum glove, which I didn't know. 100 home runs, and he's doing that the second fastest in the Mariners. It's not like Mariners had some scrubs in there. I mean,
no, they had A-Rod.
King Griffey Jr. and A-Rod were pretty good players, and so the fact that he's ahead of Junior in that same time frame, I think for now. And then after you started mentioning some of the catchers that are in the league as the better ones,
there's not a lot of Johnny Benches out there right now.
I mean, Adley Rutschman is still a pretty young guy,
still trying to figure it out,
still going. I think William Contreras I think his brother's not in the conversation no more because he's moved to first base.
Right.
And so there aren't a lot. So yeah, I think maybe he is underrated. We should be talking about Kyle Riley a little bit more.
Yeah, I know that it doesn't matter anymore, but the 217 career batting average doesn't excite me.
He's a catcher though.
Yeah, the home runs is good. 100.
Who do you guys think is the best catcher in the league right now?
Who?
I can't. Well, I don't know why
I can't think of any catchers right now.
I mean, Will Smith is still pretty.
Yeah, Will Smith.
He's a good catcher.
All right. We'll move on.
What's funny is, ironically, NL West got some pretty good catchers in that. Bailey is in that group.
Oh, Patrick Bailey, yeah, that's true.
You got what's my man's name for the Diamondbacks? Had the great postseason run. I can't
Gabriel
remember.
Moreno. And certainly Hunter Goodman showed off his skills here in San Diego.
They took advantage of poor Hunter.
Yes, they did.
Okay. Salvador Perez is a good catcher too.
Sal Perez.
Yes, he's probably
up there.
The GOAT for this generation right now.
Number 1.
This is a purely selfish topic here. So Julian Edelman had Puka Nacua on his podcast and started asking him about the 49ers for some reason. And Julian Edelman had a conversation with Puka Nacua about Brock Purdy and his contract and what he thinks is going to happen. So here is that conversation.
Brock Purdy, is he going to get a 5?
I don't think so.
You think he's going to go with a 4? It's going to start with a 4.
Yeah.
A high 4?
No. I think
mid
4.
A 45?
I think so. I mean, I think
if he does that, that'd be smart for him and them.
Yeah. I mean, I think he seems like a smart guy. I think they have a chance to still be in their window. And I think if he goes for a 5, that the window closes.
So that's
Brock
what
Purdy,
he said.
Is he going to get a 5?
Whoa, that's the wrong one.
So.
You got to turn the clip
there
off.
We go.
Now,
I turned down Tony instead of the clip. This angered me because Puka Nacua needs to keep Brock Purdy's name out of his mouth.
This angered you, huh?
Was he not asked a question?
He was asked a question, but when was the last time you ever heard a player be like, he's going to get that? Like, I don't hear players commenting on other players' contracts often. So, Tony, did Puka slight Brock Purdy here?
He asked Puka
he slighted you for sure. We know that.
Right. He asked Puka his opinion, and Puka gave his opinion. And I think he was trying to speak to it from a standpoint of if Brock still wants to go out and win and have a chance to win, he probably should take mid 4. Doesn't mean he will ask for 5. He just said if he asks for 5, that window's closed in his opinion. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I thought it was good.
How much bulletin board material did Puka Nacua provide Brock Purdy, Chris?
I think it was, oh boy, I'm going to say this and then get out of the chair.
What?
I think it was kind of arrogant former BYU speak, to be honest with you.
It goes back to the BYU.
It's a joke, everybody. We know I don't like BYU, but I don't compare this to that. I don't know. This seems like it really upset you for some reason, but I don't see why it would upset Brock
talking
Purdy.
about Brock Purdy, okay?
He should be if somebody has him on their podcast as a guest, and that's the question.
I think it's weird to speculate.
Sorry,
on
Julian,
contract.
I can't answer that question. Scraby hates
Brock, is Puka worth top money in the league? Well, I don't know. I'm Puka. The Roundtable Replay is featured in our happy hour today. As always, our happy hour is brought to you by GL Pools, the swimming pool experts. Trusted by thousands of San Diegans since 2006. Baseball is back, and so is swim season. Make sure your pool is ready. Call now and mention radio for a free month of service. That's GL Pools. Call now and mention radio.
All right, Tony's going to introduce the Roundtable.
Roundtable coming up next, featuring everybody except me.
All right.
Have a good night.